What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, Fenix Aurora. Welcome to the weekly battleground of complexity, cognition, and confidence building known as Do It Live. I've got what I believe is going to be an amazing show lined up for you guys. Joining me as co-host is the serial co-host, Mr. Nick Hayes. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
That's what I like to hear. So today's episode of Do It Live, we're going to be covering all of the amazing and intense learning events that have surpassed over the last week. Of course, starting with last Sunday's Q&A, which featured some amazing words of wisdom from Mr. Bob Podolsky. We'll have a little sneak peek at a video that I made pulling those amazing words. We're going to go into we're going to cover some of what happened on the Autonomy Toasters meeting. Olivia, one of the individuals in my mastermind group, and myself, we did a couple of speeches that we worked on. If she's present or makes it by then, we'll hopefully hear from her. Then we're going to go into some of the other stuff that happened on Monday, which was the project management, the getting things done project, spiritual revolution, of course, Jerry Tappan's weekly challenge on time auditing. We're going to cover some of the stuff that happened on Tuesday as well, which I didn't see the calendar, so I couldn't actually double check then. But we're going to fast forward to this upcoming week, which is going to be an introduction of a new course for the autonomizers called the Dopamine Detox for Parents, instructed by a good friend of mine, Mr. Jay Noon from up in New Hampshire. He's going to be teaching people how to learn how to raise your kids that are not addicted to tech. Oh, good luck with that one. Kicking off Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the facilitated writing with Sarah Roman, my apologies. And then we're going to, of course, touch on Jay Dyer's Philosophy 101, which this week was Stoicism and Neoplatonism. But of course, we're still working. So episode 5 is up right now. We're still waiting on 6 and 7 to get posted, but that's okay. It'll be up there pretty soon. We're going into Thursday. We're going to be talking about the mastermind groups, which myself and the co-host Nick are leaders for. Thank you, Nick. Looking forward to getting your position on some complexities and struggles that you've dealt with as a leader of that group. We're also going to be featuring a little video from the media production meeting. And then going into the Friday lecture. The Friday lecture of this week wasn't available yet, so I pulled some stuff from the previous week, and if need be, we will discuss or if possible, we can cover some of the stuff from last night as well, provided that there are individuals that remember what happened. Do you remember some of the sales techniques, Nick, from last week?
Remember them from previous seasons. The thing that stuck with me from this most recent week's lecture is I managed to tune in just as Richard was announcing that you were hosting Do It Live tonight and asking if you had a co-host or not, which gave me the idea to shoot you a message and offer my presence here tonight.
Awesome sausage. So let's kick it off today with a talk by Mr. Bob Podolsky on neurolinguistic programming. And how do I get back over there? Right here. All right, we're going now. The video is about 7 minutes, but we're only going to check out the first 2. So enjoy, guys.
I would like to give my subconscious some direction. If I recognize what it's doing and I say, I see what you're trying to do, and I would really like to be reminded of this in a different way.
Okay.
What's the protocol for that?
I do have a suggestion, and it applies both to reducing negative self-talk, but it also applies to other areas that are germane to what we're talking about. And that is the most powerful method that I know to achieve excellence on an individual level and to eliminate negative self-talk is to begin learning to converse between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. With practice, you can hold conversations between the two parts of your mind, and actually negotiate changes that are beneficial to both. In neuro-linguistic programming, there is a protocol that is specifically for that kind of situation. It's called the 6-step reframe. And it basically establishes a communication channel between the conscious and subconscious where you actually know that you are getting responses from the subconscious. You ask the subconscious to form a committee composed of parts of the subconscious that are related to the issue that you have. You assume going into this that the subconscious is trying to do something helpful for you by creating what you consider to be a problem. So this recurring piece of music or song or whatever it is, he's trying to do something helpful for you. You don't have to know what that something is, although you could ask and get a reply. But what you do is you ask the subconscious, form a committee of all the parts of my subconscious that are involved in that use of that song, the parts that create that behavior, the parts that oppose that behavior, all of the parts that are affected by that behavior. And then you ask the committee to basically hold a private meeting and come up with alternative behaviors that would not have the negative effects, but would take the place of the old behavior. And then you ask the subconscious also, when you have, let's say, 10 alternatives, that you pick the one that seems to you to work best, and you install it.
Hey, Phoenix, I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you.
And I forgot to mute it, unmute. So that was Bob's words of wisdom from the Q&A. We do happen to have Mr. Bob Podolsky in the chat today. Maybe we'll be lucky enough he'll pop onto screen. If any of the individuals in the audience have any questions, you might be able to throw them out. Nick, have you ever tried the 6-step reframe? I know I have not yet.
No, it's not something I've tried before, but I love hearing and learning about the subconscious. And Bob, if you are on the call, I'd like your input on this, because my kind of understanding is the subconscious is sort of the engine under the hood of, and it drives a lot of our behaviors and kind of a lot of our habits and routines kind of get anchored there. And it can be why changing our behaviors can be very tricky without engaging that part of us. Is that a kind of sensible summary, Bob?
Yes. In a word, that makes sense. Can you hear me all right?
5 by 5.
Loud and clear.
All right. Well, the 6-step reframe allows you to address any problem that you can define as an unwanted behavior in yourself. It doesn't work if you try to change someone else's behavior, but if they want to change their behavior, you can walk somebody through the steps and they can do that. But if you have a problem that you can define as pertaining to your own behavior, then that technique will usually, not every time, but will usually solve the problem. When it doesn't solve the problem, I have other techniques that are still more powerful. They're more complicated. So I start with the simplest. The 6-step reframe is quite simple.
Bob, when did you first start getting into practicing and learning about NLP?
Well, I've been doing counseling with people since 1974, and ran across NLP around 1984 after having done a lot of work on myself using traditional psychotherapeutic methods. And I studied for 6 months with John Grinder, who was the co-inventor of NLP. And it was one of the techniques that I learned from him back around 1984.
The 6-step reframe was?
Yes. Yes, it's very powerful. And that's when I really began taking it seriously. At about the same time, well, starting in 74, I was already using traditional hypnosis methods. And then I got introduced to the work of Milton Erickson, who invented modern hypnosis, which is more advanced than the traditional hypnosis. And it turns out that NLP was derived from Milton Erickson's work on hypnosis. So I use the NLP now when I'm teaching hypnosis. I teach people to begin with self-hypnosis using NLP, and then use that as a bridge into more complex forms of hypnosis, more advanced techniques. I'll soon be giving a course here in Acapulco on hypnosis. It'll be either a 1-day, a 2-day, or a 3-day, depending upon the investment that the student wants to make. And I'm looking forward to doing that. I thoroughly enjoy teaching these skills, and they are learnable. One thing I might mention is that in traditional hypnotherapy, many therapists have spent many hours testing their clients to see if they're hypnotizable. And I have a shortcut way of finding out whether someone is hypnotizable. Would you like to know if you're hypnotizable? We can do that right here, right now.
Absolutely. I've always kind of felt like I was too self-aware to be hypnotized. So like, I'd love to know for a fact.
Can you see my hand?
Yes.
You're hypnotizable.
It's that simple, huh?
It is, because you're demonstrating that you can respond to a suggestion I made in the form of a question. Can you see my hand? You understood the question and gave me an appropriate response. Now, that doesn't say how long it would take you to learn to go into a hypnotic state. That's a whole separate thing. Hypnosis isn't something that is done to you by a hypnotist. It's something you learn to do to change your own awareness. You need to understand that the hypnotherapist isn't doing something to you. He's just showing you the way that you can do something to yourself. So on one level, all of hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And it takes a little training to really fully grasp what that means. But there's nothing mysterious about it.
So these hypnosis sessions that you offer and these self-coaching sessions where an individual is able to reprogram their brain, do you offer like 1-hour sessions as like a value offer? Is that something that you have on one of your websites, or?
Well, I haven't been offering it publicly lately, but I plan to. Individual sessions are something I've been doing since 1974, and it's something I thoroughly enjoy. You know, I used to be a physicist, and I did systems analysis of physical systems and wrote mathematical equations to describe physical systems and things like that. And I just didn't like that lifestyle because I never got to see anybody benefit from it. But when I became a psychotherapist, suddenly every day I get to see people's lives improve as a result of what I do with them. It became very satisfying, and it has remained my core skill set ever since.
Now, for individuals that may be geographically located around you, speaking of which, can you throw the class out like a rough estimate? What's the nearest major city?
I'm in Acapulco, Mexico.
Okay, so any of the individuals down in like Morelia, Acapulco, some of like the anarchist communities down there, if they wanted to take advantage of your psychotherapy sessions,
yes,
how could they get in contact with you?
Well, I'm easy to find down here. I'm pretty well known. I can be reached at my email address. My email address is bob@civilizationdoneright.com.
bob@civilizationdoneright. Thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate your words. I really appreciate you coming on today as well. we're going to be moving on towards some of the stuff for Autonomy toasters. So thank you again. Do you have any other parting words?
Well, I'm looking for some researchers to help me out. I started writing another book. I've read a lot of books, and I started writing one that is a biography of my father, Boris Podolsky. My working title is Insights of His Father's Son: The Life and Times of Boris Podolsky. For those who don't know me and my father, he was an internationally famous physicist who worked with Einstein, published a paper with him in 1935. And his paper has had over 18,000 references to it in other people's papers, technical papers. He worked with a lot of big-time physicists. I have a picture of him on my other screen here, with Bohr and Dirac and Heisenberg and Ehrenfest and Bloch at the conference in Copenhagen in 1933.
Niels Bohr, no kidding.
Yeah,
Heavy hitters of physics.
Yeah, he also worked with Linus Pauling and all the big name people in theoretical physics of that day, of that era.
And so you need researchers to help with what type of research are you looking for help with?
To fill in some of the gaps in the history I'm putting together of his life, because he was already 42 years old when I was born. So everything I know about his life before that is basically hearsay. It's the stories that he told with a few stories that other people have told. And some of these stories are a lot of fun in terms of they demonstrate that a very ordinary person, and I think of my father as a pretty ordinary guy in most ways, with some of the ordinary failings and foibles that people are prone to, and yet he did some really extraordinary things in his life. I think it's important for people to know that you could be a very ordinary person and still do amazing things if you set your mind to it. So anytime you like, I'll be glad to share some of those stories with you on camera.
That would be awesome. We need to set up some time and set up an interview. That'd be great. So for any of the autonomy students out there, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've got a hand up in the audience. It's Alice. I don't know if that's intentional, and if you wanted to ask Bob a question.
Sorry, I was wondering if I could ask, if hypnosis is only ever something that's self-done and it's never something that's done to you, then do you have any idea what would have happened to like Saran or someone like that?
Yes.
Sorry, I was just interested. Like,
well,
I don't know much about it.
Here's the thing. Using hypnosis, it's possible to mislead or trick people into doing things they wouldn't normally do. Now, if someone's in a hypnotic state that I've helped them to induce, and I give them a direct suggestion, I say, do this, whatever it is. If it's something that violates their morality, they will wake up and feel angry that I told them to do something that they don't want to do, something immoral, for example. On the other hand, it's also possible, using hypnotic technique, to install a neurosis or even a psychosis in the individual, and through that to fool them into not understanding what it is that they are doing when they obey a suggestion. So that is what, outfits like MK Ultra and so on, they did a lot of that kind of tricking people into doing things they wouldn't normally do. And that's it, it's a tool, and it can be used for good or it can be used for evil. So I think it's beneficial on average for people to understand what it is and what its capabilities are. They're less likely to be fooled, less likely to be taken in. Now, when Milton Erickson did experiments installing a psychosis in someone, at the end of the experiment, he would remove the psychosis. That was the ethical thing to do. But if the thing he installed enabled the person to live a decent life without harming anyone, then he might leave a result that was permanent. He didn't cancel it. It went on affecting them for the rest of their lives. We're in that situation now with hypnosis done to us on television and by the mass media, that they're not canceling the bad suggestions that they make, the people who are manipulating the world. So I have a project to overcome that. I call it the antidote, and it's a hypnotic routine. It's a 15-minute audio file, and I'm still looking for people to test it who want to, close your eyes and listen to this for 15 minutes and get some benefits from it, because it cancels out a major portion of the thing that's come to be known as the mass formation that Matthias Desmet has described so accurately.
Does that answer your question, Alice?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So guys, if you are interested in taking advantage of this, don't forget to send him an email. Bob, what was that email again? Bob at
Civilization Done Right.
civilizationdoneright.com or .org?
.com. And it's
.com.
all one word, lowercase.
Bob at civilizationdoneright.com. Thank you so much, Alice. Thank you so much, Bob. We're going to be moving on now to the AUTONOTOASTERS meeting that happened last Sunday after the Q&A. Olivia, if she's present in here, I'd love to get your take on the talk that you gave. I also gave a little speech on it was why racism is bullshit, essentially. And I'm going to be refining it a bit more. And I need to like write it out and so forth, but it's going to be, I think, a pretty decent speech once I'm really finished with it, because it really goes into a lot of the manipulation behind the concept and term of racism. And because of the AUTONOTOASTERS, which is hosted by Miguel Nimitz, who is present today. And if you want to come on screen and give us a little bit of an overview about AUTONOTOASTERS, I would love that. But through the AUTONOTOASTERS meetings, I'm going to be developing this argument and hopefully a video series on why racism is just an Orwellian BS term that doesn't actually mean anything.
Well, thanks, Phoenix. I guess one of the things that I probably should mention is that was part of your integration exercises from season past, huh?
Yeah, that was my season 6 in a week 6 integration exercise.
So that's kind of one of the things that AUTONOTOASTERS presents, is an opportunity to kind of do some of those things where you have a room full of people that can provide you with feedback that really are doing that and exercising that. The practice of doing public speaking on a regular basis, and so that's kind of what AUTONOTOASTERS is about, and certainly with the idea that Toastmasters brings to the table is that opportunity to practice, and it certainly is through practice that we really get better. I think that's been pretty much documented. If it's the 20-hour learning thing or the 10,000-hour learning thing, it's that practice, that daily ritual, that regular ritual that gets you to expertise. And kind of jump on what Bob said as far as regular people doing extraordinary things. It really is through that determination that those things get accomplished.
And you have several tools at your disposal within the AUTONOTOASTERS meetings. One of those is UTONOMY. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is something that just came about relatively recently. I was able to connect with one of the developers of an AI software that's called UTONOMY, and it essentially is a tool and a device, or a program that you can use for free similar to a lot of the Google products that's out there that analyzes the techniques and methods that go into speaking. So with some of the things that it monitors, it basically creates a transcript, but then it takes note of all the things like the crutch words that I've just demonstrated, us and ahs, as well as a lot of other words. And certainly it gives you the opportunity to like monitor like rate and pitch and volume and the speed that you're speaking at, the amount of words that you're saying per minute. Those are all things that affect people's understanding of what you're bringing about. So by doing that, by taking that tool and using it, then you can alter your speech. You can alter the things that that you find difficult or challenging into something that's much more powerful. And certainly, like when it comes to words, this is one of the things that I think a lot of people don't really understand how powerful words are, and how we can either take advantage of the words and the definitions of words, or we can be victims of the what people are using to define words. Because like as we get into this larger debate in the world, there's a lot of words that trigger people, and it's a matter of us either understanding how those things are being used and manipulated to our advantage, or we become victims of those.
Now, prior to Udely, how would an individual within the Autonotosters or the Toastmasters community analyze those words or those statements, the speeches, I should say?
That was kind of one of the functions of Toastmasters, was to give you that feedback, to have an evaluation period where you're getting professional feedback from people that would tell you like ahs and ums. You said 15 ahs and ums, or you said 300 ahs and ums during your speech. Somebody would count those and tell you that that's what you're doing. And so eliminating those crutch words was one of the primary functions of Toastmasters, at least at the basic level. But yeah, to a large degree, it was just other people giving you feedback.
And how long have you been facilitating the Autonotosters meetings?
I think we're going on 2 or 3 years now. I think it started after season 2, so it's been going on for quite a while. But it's kind of gone through its iterations, and it's certainly something that I think is we're back in a growth phase again as we get more students. So,
and so those are Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern, correct?
Yeah, it's a little bit tough for some people. Certainly the people on the West Coast, it's a little early, but it is another opportunity to build your skills.
Yeah, I personally can attest to the difficulty of making those meetings. I've been since my introduction in season 6, I've been really wanting to attend one of these meetings, and it seems like for the last year and a half, every single Sunday, without fail, I would sleep past it or completely blank on it, mainly because I was not scheduling my success by putting it in my calendar. Bad Fenix. But this past week I did, and I made it, and it was a great time. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I got a lot of value out of it.
I'm telling you, I was really impressed. I mean, I really felt like, we discovered something, at least I discovered something about you, Fenix. And I know I've witnessed, quite a few of your presentations, but I really feel strongly that you've got the charisma of a public speaker. And to some degree, it's something that you should be, I'm certainly going to encourage you to, develop that skill, because this is one of the primary skills that we have as far as, how we communicate with other people and how we present information to other people. Having that skill is something that really can make a huge difference. I've never been able to confirm this, but there are a lot of people that say that if you have, two kind of similar people with the similar kinds of skill, and one has public speaking skills and one doesn't, the one that has public speaking skills is earning about 3 times as much as the one that doesn't. So, that's one of those skills that pays the bills for sure.
See, that just tells me that I'm allowing my scarcity mentality to rule far too much of my daily life, because I'm like, I hear the praise and I'm like, yeah, that would be cool, that would be cool, but this and but this and but this. So my subconscious is still playing tricks on me. I need to get into a meeting with Bob, set up that 6-step reframe so that I can overcome that, so I can start doing better with my speeches and my public speaking. So hey, hopefully we can mix it all together into this amazing little pot of autonomy and come out with, one of the best arguments against the concept of racism that's out there. And I can put S and Swari X Kendi. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but just put him to shame. Just put him to shame. So thank you again, Michael. If Olivia's here, if she made it, I'd love to hear your talk. I don't think I see her. I do not. Okay, c'est la vie. That is life. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to be moving forward. Thank you again, Michael. We're going to be moving on to, before I move on, let me give you guys an overview of what's coming up on tomorrow's Autonomy Toasters meeting. I will be giving a secondary talk, the second rough draft of my Racism is Bullshit talk. And Bobby Boise will be giving his intro to, now don't hold this against me, Shambhala Anarchy. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but Shambhala sounds like a pretty cool word, and I've got to check it out. So that's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow, guys. Remember, that is 10 a.m. Eastern to 11:30. Wait, no, that's a ton. Wait. What time is it again, Michael? My apologies.
Yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern to 11:30.
It is 10 a.m. There we go. Okay, 10 a.m. Eastern to 11.
And I see Bobby is here. I don't know if he's got a chance, or he might want to speak or not. I don't know.
Bobby, floor is yours if you want to jump on there. Giving him 5, 4.
The lights are all messed up. Well, hello, everybody.
Hey.
So here we are doing it live, Phoenix. I'm just here to give some support. You calling me out? Yeah, I've been working.
Yeah, I would love to know what this Shambhala Anarchy is.
Yeah, it's something. I was raised in the Shambhala community, and I've always had an affiliation for anarchism. And in 2019, I went to the Anarchapulco because that was the group of people that were representing the worldview that I espoused by being aware of the New World Order and this, the ideology of the New World Order and these false flag events of September 11th and JFK, and then and seeing what was going on and connecting with that. And so then that got me into studying anarchism. And my friend's father had been a socialist book publisher for his life. So he gave me the Communist Manifesto when I was a teenager, and I read it eventually, but I was like, what is anarchism? And so I started studying anarchism. Actually, I just happened to go to this anarchist book fair before I went to Anarchapulco, and my friend's publishing company had a stand there, and I didn't know the woman who was personing or whatever the stand, and but this book said post-anarchism, a reader. And I was like, oh, I'm just trying to find out what anarchism is. What's post-anarchism? And so I bought the book and I read it, and it was, it's basically academic study of anarchism. And that was getting into this thing called post-structuralist anarchism. It was this guy who wrote this book, Todd May, in 1994. And so that's kind of what I've been trying to do, is to go back into history, like what Rich does in terms of going a forensic historian, and find out what, who all the characters were who were dealing with these issues before. And so anarchism is this key issue in society. And like Bob was saying about what ordinary people can do, the anarchist community is just completely internationally just ordinary people, whether they're even coming. So a lot of the lead anarchists were aristocrats. And so how all that evolved out of, well, at any rate, so that's the study of anarchism and who the anarchist luminaries were, from classical anarchism up to modern anarchism, and then joining that with the teachings of Shambhala that I was raised in, which are about creating an enlightened society through the sacred path of the warrior, and
Okay.
giving a preview, merging those two. And so that's something that I've been working on, and actually after this meeting, I'm going to try to button that up for tomorrow.
That sounds really cool. I like that. The mixing of the Shambhala, the path of the righteous warrior, and personal autonomy and personal responsibility and respect for property rights that anarchism brings. They sound like a wonderful coexist, or a wonderful mixture of two concepts that can definitely coexist together. So I'm really looking forward to this. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, remember that is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. Thank you very much, Bobby. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So moving forward, Nick, any points, or comments, questions, critiques on the Autonomy Toasters?
I haven't made it to many Autonomy Toasters meetings, and I'm definitely feeling the FOMO right now. One thing that I did think of was that if you are sort of new to public speaking, getting Autonomy Toasters sounds like a great place to get in your first 20 hours of focused practice. And one of the things we learn in the course is that those first 20 hours are critical, and you can learn so much in those first 20 hours when you're learning something new. If you plan the practice and break the skill down, investing 20 hours into something can get you very far. And Autonomy Toasters, for anyone interested in public speaking and working on that skill, I think that would be a good place to do it.
Excellent. So moving on to day 3 of last week. We were 45 minutes into the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're not even past the first 2 days. That's how amazing autonomy is, ladies and gentlemen. Aren't you so stoked that you're here? So moving on to Monday. Let me see if I can do a screen share, and I can pull this up. Let's see. Tap that button, that button, that button, and that button, and then we'll share this, and we'll come over here, and we will say, hey, Bob, how you doing? Autonomy Toasters. Remember that? We just talked about it. So coming over here. Oh, first thing on Monday's list. Now, Monday, I wasn't able to touch on too much. I had a lot of stuff going on, but there is a lot of events going on Mondays. Of course, Michael's project management tips and tricks. I believe last week it was canceled. There was some double booking issues to that effect, I believe. But this week, you're still good to go, right, Michael? Miguel?
Yeah, we were able to do it this week, and typically it's the topic that we cover is something that comes about during the week, one of the discussions or something that people express an interest in, usually through the Q&A or do it live or the Sunday Q&A. There's some topic that kind of involves project management and getting things done, and this is just a quick tidbit of information that will help people get things off, and then that next hour then I use to talk to people about their specific projects. So if anybody is kind of developing an idea about a project, there's no problems, there's no solutions, there's just undefined projects, as David Allen suggests.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much, Michael. Of course, the next thing we have on our lineup for Monday is Getting Things Done project, hosted with Ryan Iwanicki. I'm not 100% if Ryan is here yet, but the post on the events page reads as, I've liked Sarah Roman's facilitating writing sessions so much that I decided to launch an extension for it. So on Mondays and Fridays at 11 Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain for me, you can join me for 2 hours of getting things done time for projects, whether it be writing, video editing, programming, cleaning your house, whatever. I need to be here. Oh my God, this is great. Guys, if you have trouble scheduling your success, finding time in your own daily life where you're not, where you don't have this structured system, and you want a little bit of backing, you got 2 hours blocked out right here in an event that is hosted by one of the better students in the course. And because Ryan is busting, he's busting his butt, and he's done some amazing growth over his time here. And so how it will work, the time will be split into 3 40-minute sections. If you show up at the very beginning, everyone will spend about a minute saying what it is that they intend to work on during the period. Then you get to work. At the first 40-minute mark, they will pause. People say generally what they've gotten done and what they intend to do for the next section. Work for another 40 minutes and then do another check. Do the last 40 minutes with the last check at the very end. If you show up sometime after the introduction, then just get to work quietly and continue with the other check-ins like normal. Of course, if you have to leave before the end, that's fine. Show up for what you can and get to work. Though, if possible, try to only leave during the check-in periods so we can all say goodbye and congratulate you for showing up and getting things done. And that will be a Jitsi meetup instead of Zoom, so you don't have to worry about downloading any programs or having any additional stuff to work with. Nick, have you been to any of these getting things done project meetings yet?
I haven't, but I think there's someone on the call who has. We have Ryan here, so I don't know if you want to come off mute and tell us a little bit about how these sessions are going and what made you decide to set them up.
Hello, I don't know if I can be heard. I've tried speaking a bit before, but no one could hear me. So
5 by 5.
Okay, good. I've only done one. The only one that's happened so far is yesterday. So I was the only one there for that one. And that wasn't surprising to me because it was like such short notice of setting it all up and everything. In terms of I only set up on the Thursday, so like the day before, pretty much the night before, I think. And so it's only been the one, and that's fine. But I was there for it. So I think it was good. The one thing I ran into, and this is probably only because I was in the meeting alone, because I've had meetings that have gone longer than this and been fine, is that the meeting sort of just spontaneously ended at one point. But I'm pretty confident that it has nothing to do. I'm pretty sure that's just because I was there alone. It was like, well, there's no meeting, so we'll just stop wasting the bandwidth.
So Jitsi just kicked you out itself?
Yeah, it just ended. Yeah, like the meeting just ended. But I've had meetings that have gone on longer than I was in there for just fine before. So I'm guessing that's why. Now, granted, I'm using the Jitsi instance that I technically paid for through getting my Above phone and getting their whole security privacy package thing, and I've practically never used it. So I was like, you know what, I'll just use it for this. This will be an excuse to use that. And so it's not going to be on the public Jitsi servers. It's going to be on this server. You can join it just fine. It's just that I have to start the meeting, and that's easy enough to do by just being there.
Mm-hmm.
But
now, how does this differ from the facilitated writing sessions?
In that it's not just writing. It's anything. The format of the facilitated writing sessions was so general that it didn't need to be just about writing. So I basically just copied what Sarah did, and it was like, all right, I'm going to do my own. I'm going to have it be 2 hours instead of just one. Technically, it should go from, what's it called, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Eastern, because it needs that extra bit of time just to do the check-ins and stuff. So that half hour will probably cover that. But either way, it's like hers was going from, I think it was 11 to 12:30, and I was like, that's good. It's good to have the 2 sections, but I'd much rather have the 3 just to get that much more done. Because 2 hours, like it's 4 hours total in the week that is pre-scheduled for other people. So that's why it's no excuses. It's like, oh, you want to get stuff done? Here you go. Here's a time slot. If you can make that time slot, great. If not, then that's fine. But I basically just copied what she did and expanded it, because all it is just do whatever you're doing and say what you intend to do, and say what you got done in each check-in. And then if you do nothing else during the week, you at least did that.
Sure. So it gives you a wonderful little block for at least 2.5 hours of those 168 hours a week that you have control over. And since I've got you out here, the next point that we're going to be covering on Mondays is spiritual revolution. Are you still kicking on with that? How's the attendance looking for that? And that one runs at...
Before we go to that, Van's got his hand up. I didn't know if he wanted to ask a question about the sessions we were just talking about.
That's why Nick's awesome. Go ahead, Van.
Thanks, Phoenix. Yeah, Ryan, I was just going to mention that if you're recording on Jitsi, it has a 100-minute limitation, so then it will automatically, knock you out. But I've not heard of this issue where it logs you out after 2 hours. But yeah, if for anyone out there relying on Jitsi for recordings, I wouldn't do that. I would still revert back to other software, because Jitsi has screwed me over in the past and continues to do so. So yeah, if you don't want to be disappointed with recordings, don't use Jitsi.
Yeah, their recording stuff is in beta still, I think. So that would be a huge part of the issue. And I'm not recording any of these. These are just me being in the meeting. It's also technically possible, and again, I won't know unless I get a room full of people, that the getting kicked out before the 2 hours is done was happening because of the above agency server instance. That might be something they set up, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's not the case either. So my current guess is that it's because I was in there alone for like an hour and a bit. And it's like, well, this is bandwidth that, we don't need to be spending. So we'll just kick you out. But yeah, recording, I do agree. I don't use Jitsi to record ever. I use OBS. I just set OBS up and set up in the scenes section. I set up a window for whatever the window is. And if it's Jitsi, great. And if it's Zoom, then that works as well. And the easiest way to do it is just click on grid view, so you can see both people's pictures or both people's video, and off you go. And then it also gives you the option of doing fancy stuff with your audio settings too. So yeah, that's always the better option, in my opinion, for recording.
Yeah, I need to step my game up with my OBS. I've been messing with OBS for like a year or so, and I can put in a couple scenes, but when it comes to actually recording stuff, I just keep putting it off onto the back burner. I gotta stop procrastinating and start making that a thing. So with Spiritual Revolution, I know you used to co-host with Agnieszka. Is it the both of you guys, or is it just you running it these days? And how's the turnout been?
At the moment, as far as I know, she's still incredibly busy because of stuff that happened in her personal life. And so it's pretty much just me. Turnout wise, I'm going to be honest, turnout is always pretty low. I typically blame myself for that, but it's also because the meeting for the longest time has had no real structure. There was really no reason to show up to it beyond just that it was a place to show up to talk about traditionally spiritual things. I, of course, I don't have a spiritual bone in my body as far as I'm concerned, at least as far as, most people's definition of that. My stuff is all about parapsychology and actually like getting results with it and knowing what is and isn't ontologically real with it and all that sort of stuff. So I don't really focus too much on the emotional side of it, which I think it can also be a reason why people wouldn't want to join. On both sides, that one side being that a lot of people, especially if they're trying to get stuff done in a place like Autonomy, and especially just how the culture has shifted over the decades and stuff, they look at the sort of spiritual lovey-dovey stuff as that's not important. I don't care about any of that. And they just won't, and they wouldn't want to show up because it has the term spiritual in the title. If nothing else, and potentially for other people, they are looking for that, and then they show up and they see and hear me, and they're like, "No, this is not really the thing I was looking for." So I kind of assume it's partly that. So in an effort to make it a little bit more useful and to give it a little bit more structure, beyond just, hey, this is a place you can come talk about ghost stories and stuff like that if you want, which is kind of what it turned into for a bit. I'm trying out a thing of, here, I'm going to give you guys curated interviews to listen to, things that I've listened to before that I know are good and are about parapsychology specifically. And then we can discuss them in the meeting.
And how long do the videos usually last? So like 10, 15, 20 minutes?
Well, in the first one, because this is only the first one that's going to be happening. It hasn't even happened yet. Is about an hour. I think it's a little less than an hour is the interview. Of course, I listen to everything on double speed, so it doesn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. And I routinely, I used to not binge, but I used to watch like all of Grand Theft World, like every episode up until like episode 60 something. And then I just was like, all right, like I don't need to do this anymore. So long forms of stuff, is fine for me personally, but at the same time, with everything else going on in Autonomy and elsewhere. I'm not going to like queue up 3 interviews, each that are like an hour or more, because they're all related, and say, this is what we're going to discuss, because that would be a little bit too heavy. So I'm just going to pick individual ones at the moment. If people want to listen to more on their own, they can do that. But I started off with what I consider probably the best overview of a lot of this stuff, which is a interview with Dean Radin, who at the time, I don't know if he is still, but at the time
With Dean
was
Radin?
Dean Radin.
Okay.
I can't remember what his specific doctorates and stuff are in. I know he has a whole bunch of different training, but basically at the time in 2018, I don't know if this is still the case now, he was the president of like the Parapsychology Foundation and stuff like that. And he was talking about a book that he was launching at the time called Real Magic, because he had gone through, he's been doing like, he's been putting together various studies in the field of parapsychology for something like 40 years or something at that point. He had easily published over 100 probably different studies and everything by that point. And he had finally sort of come to this realization that all the stuff they study is sort of indistinguishable from what more esoteric traditions would refer to as magic. Now, granted, in their case, magic with the CK, I don't like to use that. But, so he was pointing out that here's how all this stuff lines up. And that was sort of part of the book. That was the topic of the book. And I've read that book, or at least I've listened to it. I have the audio version. And I thought that one interview gives such a good overview of sort of the field of parapsychology in general, and just some of the various things I talk about. It focuses more on some stuff than others, but that's fine. But I thought like that's a good one to start with. So that's the one. That's your homework. If people want to show up and discuss it or discuss any other topic like that, that's the one to listen to. The interview itself is you can find in the forum. It's called The Reality and Significance of Magic. It's done via a YouTube channel called New Thinking Aloud with Jeffrey Mishlove. So you guys can go and find it. And this is a test. I don't know how this is going to go. It might turn out that this format is not the best, and maybe it should be a thing of we all listen to the interview together in Spiritual Revolution. I don't know. We're just going to try it and see what happens.
Well, now, one of the things that we learned in the sales portion of autonomy is that marketing is the fuel that drives your vehicle to success. How much marketing, how much outreach, how much of that word have you gotten out to really prime the pump for the Spiritual Revolution meetings?
Other than putting up the post in the forum, I haven't really done, and I guess talking about it here, I haven't really done all that much. I wasn't really intending to do much more than that. I just wanted to sort of be a thing that would sort of trickle in each time, because at least those posts on the forum would continue to exist even after that meeting was done, so people could technically have an archive of, hey, what are these interesting interviews that I can look back on? I suppose to make that happen, I would have to write them in a way that is more searchable. So I probably create some sort of hashtag within the forum for that to make that easy for people. But that hasn't happened yet, because again, this is the first time I'm doing this.
Sure.
So.
All right. Well, I really look forward to it tomorrow. I might even make it. That is 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time PM, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. You're kicking ass and taking names. I love it. Keep doing the good work, man. Oh, one more question before I let you go.
All right.
Regarding the parapsychology, have you ever exploded a cloud yet?
Exploded a cloud? Like dissolved a cloud?
Yeah, one of those things like in the Men Who Stare at Goats, or Men Who Stare at Goats thing. Where
I've never
doing
watched
the cloud
that.
seeding thing. Oh, really?
I've not watched that.
Right up your alley,
However,
like,
I will say that yes, back in the day, back before I fried myself and lost everything I built up, I did a number of things with wind and weather and dissolving clouds and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I know that's a thing, and I know there's also, I don't know the results of this research, but I know there was research that was being done by a then PhD. Well, she was trying to get her PhD. Her name was can't remember her first name. Her last name was Caputi. And she was an atmospheric scientist who wanted to look into this and look into people who have those claims, hey, I can influence the wind. So she was going to set up like a bunch of these, I think they're called laser inframometers, to sample the air like 1,000 times a second in an area, and then get people to Okay, focus during this, 30-second period or whatever, and then don't. And then they just, they have all this data that would very precisely tell them, well, what's the wind actually doing? I haven't really kept up with that. I don't know if that's gone anywhere, but I do know like people, like that's a thing that people are interested in, people talk about, and there is some research that has been done on that. Danny Caputi, that's her name. There you go.
They've got HARP, but we've got our minds.
Yeah.
Send your radio waves. That's okay. We'll explode the stupid clouds. Thank you so much, Ryan. Appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks. You too.
So Nick, any comments, questions, concerns?
No, nothing really. I was just thinking about the listening to things on double speed. Ryan mentioned it's not something I've ever tried, although there was a part of a clip in one of the lectures, I think last night's, if not last season's week 7 lecture, where one of the speakers told us that we can speak at roughly 250 words a minute, but we can listen at double that. And so what a lot of us do when we're listening to each other is we'll fill in the missing 250 words and kind of assume we know what the person's saying. And this takes away from our active listening skills, which I thought was an interesting tidbit, and kind of made me think I might actually try this speed listening, 1.5 speed maybe at first. I don't know if I'll go for the full double speed, but thanks for that reminder, Ryan, and good luck with the spiritual revolution.
See, the way that you mentioned that, it made me think that listening at double the speed was inhibiting your active listening. Is that correct?
So the idea was to be a good conversationalist, you have to be a very good listener. And the problem is that we can listen to more words than we can speak. So as somebody speaking 250 words per minute at us, our minds are sort of filling in and jumping ahead and finishing sentences and finishing ideas before the speaker has actually finished their sentences, if that makes sense. So we're kind of jumping ahead.
Yeah, I just did it now.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, cool. I like that. So moving on to, let's see, we're barely at Tuesday, guys. We got a long way to go here. All right, so stick around. Tuesday, there wasn't much that I saw, and like I said, I don't have access to the calendar, but I will remove that complexity and figure that out for myself. But for next Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, is the dopamine detox for parents with Jay Noon, and you can learn how to raise your kids not addicted to tech. I'm going to do a quick screen share here, and we can take a look at the event posting. Let's see here. Not there. We did that one. Oh, I almost jumped over Jerry. My apologies, brother. We are not going to Tuesday yet. We still got stuff for Monday. Jerry Tappan's weekly challenge, the time audit. Run an audit of your week to identify where you're spending time and where you are investing to reach your goals. Nick, have you tried this time in the time audit yet?
No, not an audit, but I've had a calendar and I've been increasingly getting more granular with the things I put on it, and that helps to really have things put in the schedule, and then you can really keep track of what you're managing to get done and the times where when you're out of integrity and not doing what you said you would do. But it's a good tool to be aware of how we spend our time.
Yeah, I see Jerry's still in the room. I noticed you're not on camera yet, but if you are available, jump on. I'd love to hear an overview of the audit, this challenge that you have for everyone this week. Oh, there he is. Woo! Blue shirt and everything. I love it. So what's this? What's this weekly challenge? This audit of the week.
Yeah. So if you read it would be better.
Sure, I can jump on. So the description reads, create a list of tasks that you either can delegate or outsource to find the 20% of your tasks that are producing revenue or reaching your goals, and audit yourself to keep eliminating the inefficiencies in your schedule. Have you implemented this yet, Jerry?
Yeah, I have not.
So you've challenged us and you've yet to do the challenge yourself. Sounds like everybody could meet up at the Getting Things Done project in order to do this audit of your time? Options and choices, ladies and gentlemen. So what made you think of this challenge for this week?
It was, I have to give credit to Joshua. I simply made the graphic, and yeah, that's how it came to be.
So is this one of the like I'm assuming there is a schedule of certain challenges that the Autonomy Unlimited team has put together that you guys can kind of filter through and then select a certain one for each challenge? Is that accurate?
That is,
Or for each
that's
week, I should say.
accurate. But yes, this. So Joshua is selecting weekly challenges that are relative to the lecture. And this one, he just said, post this. And I said, all right. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Just checking in. How's life outside of the Navy?
Life is good. Let me just, what's it called? Flip my camera. I'm about to eat
Ooh.
with my mother and just listen to this good podcast, Phoenix.
Awesome, Jerry. Well, thank you so much for throwing that challenge out there for everyone. I know some of the individuals that haven't done it yet. If you want to make it to that Getting Things Done project so you can accomplish this challenge that Jerry has laid out for you, you've got your time. Throw it in, go into the events, click on the event, RSVP, go to the little spot where it says add to calendar, add it to your calendar so you can schedule your success so you don't forget about it like I always do. Learn from my mistakes, ladies and gentlemen, and then start crushing these challenges. So moving on to Tuesday, finally, we've got the dopamine detox with Jay Noon. Rich, I'd love to know, how did you guys set up this course with Jay, and what kind of stuff are you guys really looking to accomplish with this? I don't have Rich on the line, but that's okay because we can adapt, overcome, and move forward. No worries. So the dopamine detox for parents. Let me switch over here, do the screen share. Man, I wish there was a way to like not have to do it every time. That's kind of annoying, but come over here, get out of my way. All right. So dopamine detox for parents featuring Jay Noon. Jay Noon will join Jay Noon, who will teach you how to raise kids not addicted to technology, but instead work with the family and live a rewarding life. So a couple of comments from Stephanie and Joshua on here. Let's see. Looks like this is during our Autonomy Northwest dinner at Chelsea's. Is Jay going to hold more than one class? Yes. It's going to be a full course. Awesome sausages. And that's going to be every Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central. So it's a 3-hour meeting, guys. So be prepared to come correct, have your notes, pad and pencil, and get ready to, really suck up some of this knowledge. Jay is an awesome individual. I first learned about him when he was doing license activism and license plate activism. I think for like the last 10 years, he's driven with no license plates. And he's super hardcore, very well read, very knowledgeable about community building. When he moved up to New Hampshire, the level of activism really took a huge step forward, and he's doing amazing stuff up there. So if you have the opportunity, make it to the dopamine detox for parents. You will not be disappointed, guaranteed. So moving on to Wednesday. Well, before I move on, Nick, you got kids?
I don't have any kids yet. It's definitely top of my list of things to get done very soon. But the concept of a dopamine detox is something that's been on my radar for a while, and it's something I think adults would benefit from. And I think if we can get it to children earlier and sooner, and try and avoid them getting hooked on that little black mirror, I think that would be a wonderful thing to learn how to do. So I think it would still be even valuable for me to attend, even though I don't yet have little mini-me's running around.
That's a great point. Yeah, it's a wonderful point. I would love to get my kids to attend, but I've tainted that well. They're like, no, Dad, we don't want to hear anything from you. We're not anarchists. Stop it. And so now they're addicted to their TikTok. Yay. Poisoning the well. That's how we do. That's how we do. But coming back to the Autonomy Do It Live Dopamine Detox, that is kicking off Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is, of course, 8 to 9 Eastern. Keep up, ladies and gentlemen. Keep up. I know you got it. But, you know, the easy thing that solves that, go in, add it to your calendar. Boom. See? Watch. Boom. It's doing this. It's doing this. It's thinking. It's thinking. Oh, look at that. Now let me move this over here. Holy cow, that's a lot of stuff. There's some complexity there. But save button, boom, and it's in your calendar. See? All set. Now, moving on to Wednesday, we have Sarah Roman with the facilitated writing sessions. If Sarah's in the chat, I'd love to hear from her, but if not, I'll give you guys an overview of what we are looking at. The facilitated writing session is Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So that is 10 a.m. to 11:30 Central. You will situate yourself with a topic in hand, your intention in your seat, and you're going to write. Kind of the same concept as getting things done, but this is specifically geared towards writers. I know Sarah is an accomplished writer herself. I've read a couple of her things. It's really good stuff. You will be sitting down, share your intentions with the group for, that's the 5-minute check-in area. You're going to write for about 35, 40 minutes, check in again, make sure everybody's staying on task, go back to it, write for about 35, 40 minutes, finishing up, reflect, close out, and set up the scene for the next meeting. No matter what your project, these sessions offer momentum. And so if you guys are looking for time to write or get something done, sign up for Sarah's facilitated writing sessions, which is going to be every Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 Central Standard Time. After the facilitated writing, we have one of Autonomy's favorites, Jay Dyer, with his Philosophy 101 course. We've gone through the introduction, the pre-Socratics. We've gone through Plato, Aristotle, epistemology and metaphysics, which I'm still struggling with defining in my own words, which I think having the ability to define something in your own words is really the definition of being able to define something. Maybe that was circular logic. I don't really know. But epistemology, let me see. So epistemology is the science of knowledge. No, it's not the science of knowledge. It is, epistemology is like the methodology for, yes. Epistemology is like the methodology of knowledge. How did you come to knowledge? What are I think, if I'm wrong, help me out and correct me. And metaphysics is like the why, I think. No, I still can't do it. Help me out, Nick.
I'll give it a go. The phrase that came to mind with epistemology is the theory of knowledge. So it's kind of dealing with how do we know what we know? And I'm probably butchering that, but that's my attempt. And then metaphysics is dealing with things that are beyond the physical. So meta means beyond, and physics, physical. And so this is where you're getting into abstract concepts such as number and logic and things that can't be sort of proven scientifically with our usual methods of scientific inquiry, things that can't be observed and measured. So that's my understanding. I need to revisit those definitions as well and hammer them out to make sure they are airtight. But one thing's for sure is in this course, when you're watching Jay Dyer, he knows his definitions. He can anchor those to real world examples. He can effortlessly connect ancient philosophy to the present day and the things that are unfolding around us. It's a wonderful course. I never get tired of his delivery style, his excellent dress sense, his hilarious impressions, and his just encyclopedic knowledge of the topics that he covers. So yeah, I would encourage anybody who hasn't yet to go and check out this course.
And of course, don't forget that epic mustache. Like, dude's got a badass mustache. Let's be real here. I don't know. He's giving Jerry a run for his money, and Jerry was in the Navy. The Navy is all about the stash. Jay Dyer has an epic stash. I gotta admit, you know, you gotta give it to him. And of course, this week's past lecture was on Stoicism and Neoplatonism. So we're still waiting for lectures 6 and 7 to drop. Let me go back to the screen share real quick. Press all these dang buttons again because I haven't learned how to quick do that. But let's see, there was a syllabus up here. There we are. Boom. That's what I had it on originally. So metaphysics was week 5. Ethics and aesthetics is the one that's about to drop soon. That will be the week 6. Stoics and the Neoplatonists with the meditations of who was the guy? Caesar. Was it Caesar's meditations? I think it might have been Caesar. No,
Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, there we go. Marcus Aurelius. Thank you. It was his meditations, which is hilarious because I've listened to that dang thing and I still can't remember. Don't smoke drugs, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it. It's not good for your brain. Or do it. You know, it's up to you. You own your body. So week 8 will be patristics, the Augustine, the Cappadocians, and John of Damascus. I don't know what patristics is. Contextually, it kind of makes me think of like the father of something, you know, the patriarchy type thing. I mean, just by breaking down the etymology of patristics, that's what it sounds like. So going on to week 9, we'll be learning about the medievals, the Eastern philosophers, and the Western philosophers during the medieval times. What it sounds like to me. Going into week 10, we'll be learning about Descartes and the Enlightenment age. Week 11 will be Hume, Kant, Berkeley, and Locke. I'm looking forward to Locke. I love Lockean philosophy. 12, the modern collapse and isms. Isms everywhere. Good Lord, there's too many dang isms in the world. So take advantage of this awesome philosophy course. If you've made your way through Tony Myers's philosophy course, you now have another choice to go off of. Watch the two, you know, maybe we can get them into a cage match and we can see who can philosophize that better than the other one and have an awesome little Platonism. Well, I think Tony is he's a Platonist, I believe so. I'm pretty sure he's a Plato follower, right? He loves Plato. And I think if I remember correctly, Jay is more of like a religious Catholic. I don't really know what that has to.
Oh, I have to jump in there and clarify. The Jedi is an Orthodox Christian, and the reason I know that is because I've heard him debate with Roman Catholics many hours. They're always fascinating things to listen to. And just quickly, while I got hold of the mic, I looked up a couple of definitions, and just to so we make sure we got this right. Epistemology, a branch of philosophy that investigates the origin, nature, methods, and limits of human knowledge. And then with metaphysics, the branch of philosophy that treats of first principles, includes ontology, cosmology, and is intimately connected with epistemology. So that's a whole
I
bunch
still
of
have no
other
clue
words
what you
we
just
have to
said.
look up. Yeah,
Exactly.
hopefully someone out there does.
And the worst part for me really is like, this isn't my first rodeo with these concepts. This isn't my 7th rodeo with these concepts. You know, like I keep trying to beat them into my brain and it's just not sucking up. So I don't know what's going on with that. But thank you for the definitions. I appreciate it. Throw them out one more time for us. Epistemology is.
Ooh, you caught me off guard there.
Words.
Okay, epistemology, a branch of philosophy that investigates the origin, nature, methods, and limits of human knowledge. And then metaphysics. This one's harder, I think. This one's harder to grasp. But this one is the branch of philosophy that treats of first principles. And it includes a lot of other words that end in ology.
All right, awesome. So guys, if you're as confused as I am about epistemology, metaphysics, philosophy, and some of the basic concepts, some of the integral individuals who helped fund and found and lay the foundations of the concepts of logical theory, check out these philosophy courses, get a better understanding, learn it better than me, because obviously it ain't gonna take much. So that is Wednesdays. Let me see, what's the time? Wednesdays at a certain time. I'll find it in a moment. No, I won't. It's on the events page somewhere. And let's see. Doing it live. We're doing it live. Boom. I can just go back here. And that is 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep up, ladies and gentlemen, and don't miss out on Jay Dyer's Philosophy 101. Now, moving forward to Thursdays, Thirsty Thursdays. Thursday was a huge day for me. I had so much stuff on my plate as far as what I had scheduled. I think that was this Thursday was like my biggest day of complexity. I had 2 different catering drop-offs to do, which are like early in the morning and one in the afternoon. I had the mastermind group, so we had the media production group. It was crazy. It was awesome. But as one of the leaders of the mastermind groups, let me show you guys what I've got going on with the mastermind group that I like to host. And here we are. So generally we'll post so I've had some issues with maintaining my integrity on making a couple of them. I missed the 3rd one because that was during the whole Thanksgiving Day break, and for some reason I was thinking Eastern and it was Central, but 4 of our mastermind group members did make it, still banged out an amazing meeting. And I generally would just post during the week, try and put some stuff in the group that are inspiring and poignant and topical. Nick, how has your mastermind group been going? Have you ran into any difficulties or complexity as a leader of the group? And how has some of the, well, we'll stop at that one question at a time.
Sure. Well, my mastermind group has been going wonderfully. It's been a really humbling experience. Everyone's been showing up and offering incredible value to each other. And it's been a place where I think we've all felt very comfortable to share about our struggles and to open up ourselves and show a little vulnerability and then to each kind of embrace that and bring our best support and encouragement and words of wisdom and tools and tricks and techniques. It's just been an excellent thing to watch unfold. I think our group has become very comfortable with each other. And it's been pretty smooth. When we were talking before the show about this topic, and you were asking me about what complexities and challenges I've faced running this group, the only thing I could come up with is being too relaxed and enjoying myself. And this has happened so that I think our first call went over by about 20 or 25 minutes, and then there's other calls where I've just forgot to stick to the plan for the hour. We have a kind of a loose structure of things we do at the beginning and the end, and forgetting things like organizing who's going to be in the hot seat the following week. Because I've just been so happy to be there and be present and to listen to people and to try and offer support and advice where I can, that I forgot sometimes that I'm supposed to be leading the group. And so, but I'm getting better at that. And we're coming into the phase now where we're going to start sharing that responsibility of leading the group, so that with the intention that when this season is over, people can feel confident that they can go and set up their own mastermind groups or keep this group running in some way, shape, or form. So I think from what I can tell, people are enjoying it, and I'm certainly enjoying it. And it's a really valuable addition to the autonomy curriculum. I don't think it's the first season I think we've run it sort of officially. And I would say it's a success, and that any future students who are thinking of enrolling or do enroll have got this to look forward to.
Nice. And so what did you guys do for the Thanksgiving holiday? Did you guys just take the week off? Did you switch days, go a little bit earlier? Well, yours isn't what I guess I'd have to start by asking, what day does your guys' group fall on?
We do Tuesdays.
See, you got lucky. You dodged the Thanksgiving Day bullet.
Yeah, it didn't affect our pace whatsoever. It was smooth excellent. As a nut. We did have a bit of scheduling issue at the beginning. We had a student turn up an hour late, right at the tail end, and then I myself turned up an hour early at one time. But that seems to have smoothened out now, and we're all turning up on time.
with the being late and like missing things, I noticed one of the parameters that was set up early on in understanding the mastermind groups when I was watching the Paul Verge interview from Do It Live like 4 weeks ago was having some type of punitive system set up for individuals that don't show up or that are late. Did you guys institute any of that? Because I know our group, we didn't really institute it. We were like, yeah, we're all adults. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. Did you guys have any discussion about that?
No, we didn't actually. I think everyone, I kind of tried to set the standard that, look, this is a commitment for the full 12 weeks. So we had a student who arrived and did the first session with us. And then he decided that the 12-week commitment was too much for him and he backed out early on. And then we were able to offer that space to someone else who showed up to every meeting. So I think just setting the expectation at the beginning. I'm not such a big fan of being punitive either. I like the low pressure approach to things, which is one of the reasons I love what we learn here in autonomy so much, the low pressure approach to a variety of things that we do in life. And so just setting the expectation up front that, look, we're showing up for ourselves and each other, and we're making this commitment as best we can for the next 12 weeks. I think that takes care of it.
Nice. What has been one of your, without doxing anyone or saying too many details, have you guys had any like really amazing breakthroughs in your sessions?
It feels like every session is an amazing breakthrough. I think people are at first kind of overwhelmed, like I was when I first sat in a hot seat in a mastermind group. It's quite a profound thing to have 5 other people just showering you with advice and support and encouragement and ideas, all focused, with all their attention and expertise and knowledge focused on you and helping you. And that's a powerful experience just to witness, even more powerful to be part of. And so no specific breakthroughs spring to mind, but I could say we've touched on topics from watching too much TV and how to fix that as a habit, as an unwanted habit, and change it into something more productive, all the way through to applying for jobs is a topic that came up. So I think it's a really diverse set of problems which can be solved, and every week and every meeting I just get filled up with more and more sort of happiness and joy that I get to be part of this experience with this great group of people.
So you are leading a group right now. Now, had you been in a mastermind group prior to leading?
Yeah. So what happened at the end of last season, a group of us set up a mastermind. There was 4, and that morphed and changed. And then when a bunch of us were approached about running masterminds ahead of this season, we got together and set up our own and ran that for, I think, 6 weeks, just up to season 8 kickoff. So I'd been in a group then, and we'd taken turns facilitating and being in the hot seat. So I'd been in the hot seat once, and then I'd attended sort of 5 meetings where I'd helped someone else in the hot seat.
Nice. Awesome. So guys, if you are confused on masterminds, or you want to build your own, or you want to find out any more about it, there is an amazing video that I posted in the media production room with Paul Verge giving his synopsis of what a mastermind group is. Feel free to contact some of the group leaders and throw some questions at them. Who were some of the group leaders that you were with in your mastermind group prior to season 8?
Okay, so there was me, Daryl Becker, Jerry, we had Erica, we had Jill, we also had David. I think that's everybody. Sorry if I'm forgetting someone.
So guys, if you're not sure on what resources you have available to you for masterminds, there you go. These are your student leaders, and jump on it. Get in there, make some changes. It's definitely worth the time. So we're going to be moving forward onto the media production team's meeting now, and I've got a slight video that I'd love to show everyone if I can pull it up properly. That's not the thing. Nope, not there. This one. Let me see. Oh, move this over here, and boom. So we're going to check out this quick little video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
We can just see the forum at the minute, Phoenix.
Like you here as well.
Say again.
I can only see the forum. Gotta love
Ah,
holiday complexity.
let me see. Let me see. Gotta love
But
holiday
I can
complexity.
see the forum, but I can hear an LD. So
All right, let's see. Let me stop this share and see if I can do this one more time. So I'm sharing sound. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, maybe I have to have it up first. In order to do that, open that. What was it? Nope. Wait, what's going on here? Why is that not doing? Why isn't it staying open? Okay, Windows 10, you're terrible. Somebody help me with Linux. My goodness. I need to get on that already. Slow dragging and procrastinating. Let's see. Minimize that. Bring this down here. Go into here. Close that. Redo the screen share. Now I've got that open. Boom, 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 and boom. Got video for it?
media production vid.
All right, here we are, guys.
Over a few things with Cody and Reese. I'm glad you're here as well. First off, Cody, you and I are going to be meeting tomorrow. What time is your meeting with Tony?
3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so after the work party.
Yeah, oh, should I just show up for the work party tomorrow?
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. We could probably accomplish some stuff. What we're going to try to have set up by Sunday is another computer Cody has, set it up with OBS and Zoom and hook the OBS up to Restream. And then Tony's going to set up a remote login. So the idea is to have a dedicated computer that's capturing the Zoom call and streaming from that location, everything that Restream sends it out to. And hopefully have a better, a higher quality stream and higher quality recording. Although we'll see how that plays out, because dealing with large file sizes, it has to get compressed down anyway.
Sure, from an unrelated area.
So maybe notate me when you want a separate one. Otherwise, I'll just plan on making the same one for both on the long and short.
Okay.
That's the long and short of it.
This may be a little redundant, but can you guys, like, contextually, I can understand what longs and shorts are. They're long and short clips that get posted out, but are they, is that an organized thing? Like, is there like 4 longs that you look for and then like some shorts, or is it whatever you guys can find, you just pull?
The idea is 2 longs, 2 shorts. Probably, if I find, if there are 3 things that are all just amazing, just pull them all. Why not? If it's great stuff, might as well use it. But the aim is for 2 longs, 2 shorts. The kind of the definition of a long is 10, minimum 10 minutes, more or less, is kind of what I try to look for. And a short is find a section that's about 5 minutes long and really mine it down to the 2-minute long nugget of adjacent cuts. So I have an intro and outro on it so that it can fit under Twitter's 2-minute 20 limit.
I'm definitely enjoying the bootcamp work, and I want to make sure Joshua and Rich are like aware of what I'm doing so that it's not just going by the wayside. On that, I was talking about clips and clipping, and I was like, well, every single bootcamp clip usually is pretty interesting. And some of the clips that I was working on too were the Whitney Webb episode 101 and 102, I think. I was trying to get some good stuff from there. There's like too much good stuff from that part. You might as well just take the whole interview with her, which I think you already have, right, LD?
Yeah, it's 2 parts. It's published.
But is it already just clipped out from like the beginning of the Whitney Webb interview, separate from Grand Theft World?
Yeah, we isolate the interviews and publish them separately.
So anyway, that's what I'm trying to do with that, is get individual clips that are particularly interesting and also make it sort of a teaser type of thing instead of just like clipping long, like this hour-long thing I did was like really, rich, deep diving and commenting and commentary on the whole entirety of the Great Reset, the 4th Industrial Revolution. He goes over technocracy rising. The video itself starts with the question, what is the Great Reset? And then it's an hour of like book deep dive from then on.
Hey Reese, you had us at hello.
Phoenix, I know you put a video together. You mind sharing that?
Sure, I can do that.
One of the things that I think.
This is why I'm going to pull up a screen share. It's like 7 minutes.
Is that the one that's going to be on the Do It
go
Live?
through the whole thing, but
the Do It. Oh no, that one is, well, I did a couple of them. I pulled Bob Podolsky's 6-step reframe, and then do it live. I've got a short film that I made called Complexity. I can do either. The Complexity is shorter than the the short film is shorter than the
Let's
Bob Podolsky
see the
clip.
complexity. Yeah.
All right,
I
sure.
saw the Bob Podolsky one, but it looked
Let
good.
me see. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right.
That really cuts to reality. That's pretty cool, Phoenix. Appreciate that.
Lots of nuance. So like even the shirt changes.
There's only one part missing. You forgot to punch the screen or the wall or
Yeah, I thought it was a little underwhelming for the Tangri.
He was going for a non-violent theme.
Totally gets the feeling across, though. You know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad. All right,
congrats,
cool.
Phoenix. Well done.
Yeah, because I sent it to
natural law shirt too.
All it's missing is somebody telling you, "Didn't you save it?"
There was a part that I think got cut out. Like there was supposed to be another part where somebody was like, "Hey, did you do this or whatever?" And I get scared, and I don't know what the heck happened to it. It's not there. I think the whole concept just kind of got thrown out the window once I did the little morph sequence with like, oh, he's like, he got it. No, oh yeah, cool. He's just, just happy with it now. And then the cat walked in and I was like, okay, damn it, there's a cat. I'll just stay with the freaking cat. Everybody loves cats.
Yeah, I got to cut out, guys. Anybody need to tell me anything before I go?
You're amazing and I love you.
Thank you. My heart will leave warmed.
So guys, that is the debut of Complexity. That's a little bit of what goes on in the media production meetings. Nick, what'd you think of Complexity?
So I gotta say, it was a masterpiece. That was unbelievable. I enjoyed every second of it. Just so impressed. When you left your house and you started running around the corner, I thought you were just gonna do a lap of the house, and then you were like running down through the fields, like by the river, out in nature, and yeah, what a wonderful project. I'm so impressed with that. It really inspires me to step up my own video editing game and do something just as ambitious. So I want to sort of flip the script and ask you a question. How did this project come about? What drove you to put all that time and effort into it? And yeah, I'll just ask you that at first.
So I was really trying to think of something that I could do to develop my skills, and without access to B-roll or without wanting to deal with that whole aspect of it, I decided I wanted to make something relevant to the autonomy community, and that is definitely complexity, how we overcome it, how we deal with it. And I realized that my de-googled black phone has an amazing 1080p camera on it. And then I realized I couldn't really mount it anywhere, so I had to use my kid's 720 that actually has a nice stand for it and everything. And I learned a lot of things through making this. Number one, clean your lens. When that scene where I first step outside, the lens is terrible. There's all kinds of dots on it and everything. I didn't notice that when I was filming inside. And then I went outside and I'm like, a couple of shots later, after I'm going around the corner, I noticed, oh my God, this is terrible. There's all these dots. What the heck? So I spent about 10 minutes trying to wipe off the lens itself, just because there was so much, I don't know, grime, like, 12-year-old kids, Lord knows what the heck they have in their rooms that gets all over the things, whatever. That, and of course, 1080 is way better than 720, and filming yourself while running solo sucks. Because you got to run, set up the camera, run back, and it's just over and over again. Oh my God, it was terrible. Get yourself a cameraman, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself someone to operate them cameras, because it makes it so much easier.
Well, you just answered my second question, because that was exactly what I was going to ask. Like, who was the cameraman and did you have one? But no, because I was imagining in my head when I was watching it, the footage of you doing the running and then walking back or running back, that you obviously had to cut and chop out of that. So, but that project on the whole, how many sort of hours would you say you put into that to deliver that wonderful finished product?
Probably 15, between 15 and 20 hours.
Nice. And was that
a lot of it was
inclusive
just
of learning the software and getting your chops up to speed?
Yeah.
Or had you done some learning before that?
Yeah, a lot of the actual workflow that you really want to implement in video editing, I developed through this project, between the just filming pre-production, or I guess production, the production aspect of it, learning the lighting and all this stuff. But a lot of the complexity just came from trying to get all those clips situated properly and then developing that workflow.
And how did you settle on the music as well? Because it suited the video perfectly.
So I grabbed I grabbed the audio prior to filming anything. I knew that what I had in my mind was a video about complexity. So I did a YouTube search for copyright-free music entitled Complexity. And I found that was, I think the name of that track is The Philosophy of Complexity or something along those lines. So that track itself is called Complexity. And so I was like, this is awesome. It's perfect. But it was only like 2 minutes long. So I had to delve into some complexity and figure out where I needed to overlap the audio tracks and how I just needed to fade out this one into the other one. And the audio track ends when I'm running in the back And as I'm starting to run up, just when I go to the face cam, that's when the audio track changes. So I had to switch it in there. And I think it felt a little awkward when I'm looking back at it. Like I could have used transitioned it over a little bit earlier, I think. But other than that, I think that the actual crossfading of the same track over itself worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it sounded fantastic to me. And another thing I wanted to ask you about, and I've seen a couple, maybe one earlier iteration, is this logo, Phoenix Fire Productions. What about this? How long did that take you to put together, and where did you get that sound from? And have I heard it before? Because it really it plays the strings of nostalgia deep within me when I hear that sound. So I want to know where it's from.
So the Phoenix Fire Media intro has been a work in progress. It's kind of a one of my favorite little projects that I could just spend time on, because it's just certain things that I can update here and make this little thing better, and make this, like, the next thing that I want to work on is the background, and changing it from the colored background to an actual 3D layered background with some smoke in the back, and maybe like a mountain or something I'm thinking of where the emblem swings in and flies in, which I don't think is on this one. Yeah, it was on this one. And so that intro has just been like a passion project to learn different aspects of 3D rendering and working within DaVinci Fusion. So I think total time has been around 25 hours that I've put on into that from all the various iterations of it. And I don't expect it to ever be finished. So I'll just keep updating it and making it better and making it better and making it better. And
That's
after
perfect though, because it'll get better as your video editing skills get better. So as you produce more quality content that improves, the logo will also improve. And then the benefit of that is for people watching you go on this journey, they can feel inspired because you're not being perfectionist. You're putting it out there and improving as you go and doing multiple iterations. And that's what it's all about. It's not about striving for perfection, but for excellence. And I think you really displayed some excellence in this production. And yeah, once again, well done. It was really good.
Appreciate that, Nick. Yeah, one of the aspects of media production is maintaining a fresh face and a fresh intro and outro. Some shows that have gone on for a long time, like Free Talk Live, they've been on for 15 years. They've changed their bumper music. So one of the concepts that I want to have with the intro is, after about 6 months of having it, I want to update it, change it, make it a little different. And those are really where I'm looking forward to figuring out different aspects. I finally got access to some special effects and some background stuff that I can download. And so I've thrown in the Envato Elements type stuff with the little smoke fire. And I think the next thing, other than the 3D background that I want to do, is I want to get the emblem to be on fire. So as it comes in from here and goes, right, how am I doing this? Okay, so as it comes in, it's on fire, like a flaming, like a fireball flying around. And I think that's going to look really cool. And then have it like impact into like an invisible wall where you just see the fire and the smoke come out. And then I want to adjust the actual lettering as well, so that it fades in and doesn't like spin in all weird. I want it to just fade in after the after effects come in on the Phoenix. So I mean, those are going to be some long-term improvements, as well as just a lot of time watching videos and working on it with with it in the background. But I've debated on whether or not I want to take a full-on editing course, because I feel at times where I've got certain aspects of it stable in my mind, but there's little gaps, like tiny little whys of how to do this or how to do that. And I think if I did like a full-on course, it would just start to finish do these projects, it'll give me a much more well-rounded methodology for using DaVinci, as well as more of the why of video editing, the logic aspect, the processing aspect, if we're going to talk in trivium terms of video editing. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think my sister might be getting me a video editing course for Christmas. I don't really know. I told her not to. It's like $300, and I personally don't even really celebrate Christmas. So I'm like, dude, don't spend that money. It has to, I want to be able to earn this dang thing and save up my money for it. But I think she's going to do it anyway. So I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully the skills will start updating.
Sweet. Yeah, and I think it's great that you can take yourself as far as you can with asking people in autonomy and, you know, watching YouTube tutorials and things like that. But then, of course, it's always good to fill in the cracks and fill in the gaps and really just make sure that foundation is solid and strong. But I just want to know as well, the sound effect for the logo, where did that come from? Is it
the nostalgic aspect? That is, of course, the iconic Super Nintendo version of the Capcom intro.
Capcom? That's the one. I was thinking, is it Zelda? You know, so I was on Nintendo, which I think is the right platform at least.
Yeah. Well, I think Capcom started putting out that version anyways on the Super Nintendo platforms. That one's from that one is specifically from the intro for Street Fighter 2 Tournament Edition. So
fantastic. That's it. That's what I was playing, that game back in the day with my cousin. Yeah, I always liked Blanca. He was always my favorite character.
Oh, Blanca. He's such a cheater character. Oh my God. He just electrocutes you every single time. It's racism. It's racism because racism's bullshit.
Nice callback.
Thank you. So moving forward onto Friday, this week's autonomy lecture was on sales and being able to create a low pressure environment where you're not selling them. You're not ABC. You're not always closing. You are learning what their pain points are. You're asking questions. You are creating rapport. And then you are finding out what their problems are and solving those problems. Now, if that's specifically in car sales, say you're, you know, whatever branch of sales it is irrelevant because it's the same process for everything, whether you're convincing someone to become an anarchist, buy a car, or drink a latte. It's all the same thing. You need to find out what the problems are, understand that, and provide solutions to those problems. Now, this week's lecture was available, so I pulled some clips from the week 6, but we'll get to that in a moment if need be. When it comes to the sales techniques and methods that we've learned in autonomy, Nick, what has been one of your most what stands out the most for you in the sales and value creation and provisioning aspects of sales that we learn here in autonomy?
Well, one of the really appealing things about it to me was that you could get paid for talking. And I think this is wonderful because we can all talk and we can all practice it, and we do all practice it, and we use it every day, and it's such an essential skill. But it's nice to know that, oh, you can get paid for talking, and that's essentially what it is. And so we can immediately start practicing this and having conversations and interviews and integration exercises and role plays. And it's a really immediately learnable and practical skill. So that was one aspect that was appealing to me. And then the more specifically sales as a job or a career, I had that idea in my mind that all salesmen were sleazy and just trying to pull one over on you, trying to sell you something you didn't need or didn't want, and that there are all sorts of pushy tactics, and I avoid those kind of situations. I don't like pressure or medium pressure, let alone high pressure. I'm not a person who enjoys haggling or negotiating. I've just steered away from it my whole life. So the low pressure aspect of this sales methodology is extremely appealing to me because that's how I like to be treated. I like to be listened to. I like to be to have a chance to express what I really want, what problem I'm looking to solve. And sometimes I don't know exactly what that problem might be. I might not have spent time to formulate it. So the low pressure approach allows you that space to put into your own words what it is you might need. And I think the sales methodology of creating that low pressure space is really the high value skill, is really what makes it a high value skill. So those are my big takeaways really on the topic of sales. And the other aspect is that it really permeates every aspect of your life, not just your professional life and not just when you are a customer buying things, but also sales applies to trying to, like you just said, convince somebody to be an anarchist, or trying to persuade somebody of something you've learned, something that you think they need to know. It's really the same process in all of those situations. It's so applicable, and once you learn that process, you're then able to apply it in every aspect, every relationship, every situation, and then you can practice and get better. And it's just it really is a superpower for those willing to learn it and practice it.
Yeah, in regards to the aspect of using sales as a method of selling anarchism or libertarianism, non-support of slavery, I think no one does it better than Larkin Rose. His Candles in the Dark method is essentially Rich's and Sabra Subi's sales method in anarchist form. You are identifying the individual's pain points. You're simply asking questions. You're allowing them to argue with themselves and tell themselves why violence is not okay or why they need a certain product. And with Larkin's method that is so perfectly put together, and it has a 5-step sequence, between inserting the wedge, which is where the individual actually is, realizes that they're not arguing with you, because you, as the person talking to them, selling anarchy, you're not making any declarative statements. You are only asking questions about what they feel and trying to help them along the path of consistency and showing them where the contradictions lie within their own ideology and their own methodology of going about the world. And that's really what sales is with this low pressure method that we're learning in autonomy. So if you have any questions about what low pressure sales looks like, check out Larkin Rose's Candles in the Dark method, and you'll after about an hour you'll get it down perfectly.
I haven't been through this particular course, Larkin's course, but it's on my radar. It's something I'm very much interested in investing in and learning. But I would say that one of the things we tend to do when we feel we want to sell something, and whether that's an idea or a product or a service, we tend to talk a lot. And the method really is listen and ask questions. So it's kind of counterintuitive. You don't have to give some grandiose speech or make a presentation or an argument, or you really, it's almost like the martial art where you use the momentum of the other person, and you don't exert so much effort yourself, because they put all the force in, and you just kind of step to the side and you guide it and you direct it. And that really is the form of stepping back and listening very closely and actively, and then asking questions. And so it's kind of a counterintuitive in that sense.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful process when it's done right, because the series of questions that you need to ask someone in order to really get to know what their pain points are. It doesn't matter if it's a car, if it's an autonomy course, if it's a bag of weed. If you're trying to talk to an individual and you're trying to get them to give you money for something of value that they may need, you need to first get into their mind and see what is preventing them from taking the steps to obtain the value that you're offering. And a lot of times that means having absolutely nothing to do and no conversation about the product that you're trying to sell them, because there may be something inhibiting them. If I want to sell a guy a $40 dime bag of weed, and they are having issues where they can't even pay their electrical bill, well, there's other stuff that we need to talk about before you need to be buying weed. And that's with anything. If it's a $3,500 car, and there are issues with, maybe you have a fear of driving, maybe you're an individual, because my sister-in-law, she hates driving, and I've been slowly trying to convince her to that, in order to better serve her family, having that ability is a much better option. But there are hindrances to her actually obtaining that knowledge because she has fear, right? So you gotta get rid of those fears if you're gonna sell them on any idea, like being able to drive a car or smoke a blunt, whatever it is. You have to get to them. You have to talk to them where they're at, and that's really what sales is all about. is observing the problems that the individual has, figuring out how best to solve those problems, and walking them down a path of solving them. And that was, I mean, that's the essence of the next couple of weeks in autonomy. I'm super stoked. This is not only mine, but I know many, many, many students and graduates, this is their absolute favorite time of the course, because, you know, it gets down to brass tacks. How are you going to make your money back? How many people are you going to sell autonomy to in the next few weeks to make your grand back, right? That's the whole idea, right? You want to make your knowledge pay for itself. So, you know, who are some individuals that in your life could benefit from autonomy, and how can you best provide and show them the value of it? Do you have to first break down some walls and barriers? Do you have to eliminate some fears? Do you have to help them identify what skills they have and what skills they can improve upon? You know, these are all concepts within a sales technique that you can do today, right now. When you get off of this podcast, you can go and say, take 5 minutes. Who do I know in my life that would really benefit from this? And don't say, well, they would never do that. I can't sell this to them. Say to yourself, how can I provide this value to them? And it's not about selling them. Who cares about the $1,500 you make off of the affiliate course? It doesn't matter. That's not important. What is important is how can you improve the lives of the people around you that you love and help them to improve other people's lives? How can you empower them to empower others? And I think if we go forward with that mindset and perspective, there's no fear in sales if that is what you're looking at it. You're not selling people a product. You're not taking advantage of them. You're helping them help themselves and help others. And that makes the whole world better, and everybody's more free. And then the state crumbles because they can't keep up. They're just, you know, they can't do it. I mean, you know, yeah, obviously that's never really going to happen. Okay. People are always going to use violence to control others. Therefore, government will always exist because that's really the nature of it. But we can minimize it by helping individuals to see clearly their path towards a better world. I think that's about all I've got for this episode, Nick. How about yourself, man? You got any parting words?
I've got absolutely nothing that I could add to that fantastic monologue you just laid out there, Phoenix. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Do It Live Autonomy Podcast. Who is going to be up next week? Do you know offhand, Nick?
Off the top of my head, I do not know, but it's only a matter of a few clicks away for me to find out.
And that
Do
is
you know
how
what
you
the
fill
date will
time,
be?
guys. That would
Oh.
be the 10th.
You're right. Yeah, I do know who it is. It's Oscar Sanchez, and I'm
Ooh.
also going to be co-hosting that one too. So I'll be there.
Nice. Nick with the serial co-host, man. He's amazing, guys. He's really good at it. He knows how to throw in like useful comments and maintain the conversation to going forward. It's great. If you ever ready to, once you get ready to do autonomy, do it live, sign up with Nick. He's awesome. He's a great co-host.
Thank you very much. I
So
appreciate
Oscar,
the feedback.
I'm looking forward to your show next week. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Do It Live. Thank you so much for being here. I have enjoyed this immensely. I remember, ladies and gentlemen, question authority, refuse obedience. Wait. Complexity still coming. So let me do a screen share and boom, and hit this button. Boom, 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 because I'm going to just do everything. And here we go.
Ready, set, go.
All right, guys. Sweet. Nice job, everybody. Thank you, Nick.
Dude, that was awesome, man. Such a good flow. You got a great charisma on camera, and yeah, I think you went out of the gate running. You were just like, and we're off straight away with the energy and the positivity and the optimism and the good vibes. I could feel it over here. And it was a pleasure to be invited to. Well, I kind of invited myself, but
That's
thank you
okay. I
for letting me
appreciate
be
you.
part of it.
That was nice. You were awesome. You were awesome as a co-host, man. It was really good. You made it super easy, and everything flowed. There was no like nervousness, and you know it. You did your position perfectly. It was wonderful. I love it.
It was a pleasure, man. I will say you got such a good flow, you know, and giving me cues and inviting me to speak when I did. I wasn't kind of sitting around like, oh, should I say something now or not, or you know, I felt like there was no pregnant pauses. It was just a really good flow overall, I think. And thank you to everyone else who also contributed and came off mute. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I guess we're on to the feedback part of it now. Does anyone have any feedback? And it was just so good.
Be
Everyone's
brutally honest.
Silence.
Brutal honesty. I love it. That's the only way to go, right? If you thought I was terrible, let me know. If you hate the shirt, let me know. If you thought that showing my butt in the video was inappropriate, let me know.
I've seen you in the shower. I wasn't expecting to be watching a video of you in the shower.
What's going on, Van?
Hey, Phoenix, I was going to ask you how you feel after doing the show, but I think you've answered the question. So, yeah, I agree with Nick's comments about your energy, and that your charisma is a good word that Nick used. And yeah, congrats. And Nick, I've sent you a comment as well. I think you've grown so much, and yeah, you continue to inspire me in everything that you're doing as well, because I can just see you growing. You know, you're such a natural at this, and I don't know if you realize it, but yeah, please keep doing what you're doing, because yeah, you're inspiring many of us. So yeah, and Phoenix, yeah, fantastic, great effort. I hope you feel great after doing this. And yeah, I think when you look back at it, you know, you'll see things that that you were happy with. And I certainly learned a lot by, you know, after reviewing my Do It Live. And yeah, just enjoy it. Thanks for, you know, doing this. And I look forward to the next Do It Live that you're going to host.
I appreciate your kind words, but what I want to know is, where could it have been improved? And I know my humble self is so amazing that there was nothing ever wrong, and there's probably nothing I could improve. But if you had to scrape the bottom of the barrel, where could that performance have been improved? What could have been better?
I would prefer, if you don't mind, to have a private conversation with you, because I don't want to rob you of this opportunity. I think this is you know, just bathe in the fact that you've done this now, and you know, just enjoy it. And you know, I'm happy to have a private conversation with you afterwards, because I've seen a lot of similarities within yourself, and that's useful to identify, you know, things that I see, you know, in others. And then I thought, like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. So, you know, but by me participating, watching you, I learned so much about myself, and I would love to have a, you know, private conversation about this afterwards. I know that's not, I don't know if, I mean, if you force me, I will give you some feedback, but yeah, I'm just not comfortable doing it. I just want you to enjoy this moment for now.
I appreciate it. I will respect that position, even though I terribly disagree, and I totally want to get just ripped to shreds, because I would love to hear your opinion of where was it weak, but I will respect it. No worries, brother. No worries. Michael, it looked like you popped on. You got some feedback for us?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just wanted to comment on what Van was talking about, you know, because that was actually covered in the one of the videos on Friday. Was that video from Ivan Joseph, the soccer coach, talking about you know, negative feedback versus positive feedback, and like trying to maintain people's self-confidence, and by trying to tear people down, you're destroying confidence. And so it's really better to like step away from the bad stuff and take the good stuff, look at the good stuff, and then get other people to be inspired by the good stuff that happened.
I suppose that's a fair argument, but I have a very high level of anti-fragility. right? So like, and I've got this false bravado that overshadows my actual lack of real self-confidence. So like this anti-fragility that's there, I'm okay with that. Like you could be like, Phoenix, that was terrible, dude. Why are you taking a shower? Like, whatever, I don't know. But I understand what you mean. I definitely see what you mean, because it's not so much pointing out the shortcomings, it's showing where you did good, and that way other people can see the positive reinforcement. So I get it.
Yeah, and I do feel like there is the opportunity to, like, when people fall off the horse, to like demonstrate that, hey, you can fall off the horse and nobody's going to like make fun of you, nobody's going to tell you you're an idiot. We're going to help you get back on the horse and do it again. And certainly that is also a positive that can be demonstrated through a community event. So, but I don't think there was a particular part of any of this presentation that you fell off the horse. So the things that I thought were really good were the beginning, and kind of giving us an overview of what you were going to show us. That was excellent, because you talked about a lot of different things, and it was like, oh man, there's a lot of stuff here, and then inviting the people that were involved with each of those particular parts to add to that discussion. I thought that was a great thing, where getting more people involved is what we're always trying to do, and really get behind people's ideas. I think that's another thing that I really feel strongly about. As we do this together, as we make this thing more and better, and and more encompassing, these are the examples of like showing people that we truly believe what we're doing. We're going to build an environment that's different from the outside world. This is a enlightened society. This is an enlightened group of people that are going to help each other, transition into that abundance mindset.
Simón, claro, Miguel. Muchas gracias por todo su tiempo y sus palabras.
De nada.
¿Sí sabes español más o menos? ¿Lo vives en México? ¿Cómo no puedes?
No, mi habla español un poquito, I guess is how they say it, right?
Sí,
but I'm working
Oh,
on
poco. Poco está bien. También? Está bien también? Yeah, I think poco would be fine as well. But no worries. All right, cool. Thank you for the feedback, man. I appreciate it. Anybody else got some words? Who do we got in here? We got Jerry Ryan.
Four nitpicky things that are really scraping the barrel, but you invited us to do it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So we had Ryan in the room, and we spent a lot of, but you read through the whole post. We could have just had him describe it and talk about it. But I'm not sure if you were aware he was in a room, and I could have probably brought him into the conversation a bit quicker. So that's also just a reflection on something we could have done better. I know it's not easy to monitor.
Yeah, could have had better awareness of who was in the room. Yeah.
Right. But there's two of us, and we both messed that up, and it's tricky. This is where a co-host is helpful, because I can keep an eye on the gallery view. Ryan, you just came off camera.
Yeah, I assume that when he was doing that, he was essentially waiting for me to get ready if I need to get ready, and I didn't want to jump in and interrupt either and just be like, I can finish that. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. The one thing I will say is that the Getting Things Done project, that runs 2 days of the week, not just one. And it seemed that you kept saying that it was you have 2 hours or 2.5 hours. No, it's 4.5 or 4 or 5 hours if you want to do it that way, because it's Monday and Friday.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware it was 2 days.
So that was sort of the one thing. I didn't have a good option. Granted, this was also my fault. I jumped back in and correct that, because I noticed you said that a couple of times, and I thought I tried to correct it in there, but yeah, I can't remember.
That's good. I like that. Having a better understanding of the topics. Yes.
Yeah. It is written in there, so you probably did actually read it off and just not consciously realize that that's what you did. Yeah. But I guess this is probably more me. Is that there's a point where after you asked me, I think it was after you asked me, have you ever dissolved a cloud? We basically were talking over each other constantly for like a minute or so, and that could have I could have also just shut up, but I didn't. So that's also my fault.
Okay, perfect. Yes, that's good feedback. Being more aware of when I am allowing the other person that I'm interviewing to actually talk, and so I can shut the hell up so people can listen, because otherwise that whole minute is useless because the audience doesn't hear either of us. So yeah, that's really good. All right, that's 3 really good, really solid points, dude. I like that. Nice.
There was some kind of alert sound going off.
I knew it.
I don't know.
Telegram. That was
Yeah.
it. Son of a
Was it
biscuit.
Telegram?
Yeah.
I think it happened 3 or 4 times.
Like,
but yeah, something like that.
Yep,
It wasn't
son
a
of a bitch.
Discord sound. It was a different one.
Yeah, that must be Telegram then. I thought I turned it off, but
yeah. And then the stream of complexity was really choppy. I don't know if that was just my end or if anyone else had that, but it wasn't smooth. I don't know if that was, yeah, I don't know what the cause of that was. If anyone else who saw that could confirm or deny that my experience was the standard.
Yeah, it was choppy. I don't know how you would fix that though.
Okay.
yeah, because I embedded that into the media production video that I did. So that was inside that video. There might have been an issue with my bandwidth. Because because playback was great on my end as far as I could see.
Well, now I really want to watch the smooth playback to get all the details.
I'll throw the Odyssey link in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. And the very last thing, and this is really scraping the barrel, was to queue up the outro while you were wrapping it up, because you finished, on the what was the quote right at the very end. I'm struggling to remember now.
Question authority, refuse obedience.
Yeah, and then it was like pause, and now I got to click a few buttons to get the outro. And if you'd have just come straight in with the outro right there, it would have been like, oh, sweet. Because the whole episode had a really nice pace. We had like the guests and the conversation at the beginning, and then the kind of the crescendo was the clip and the piece of work that you'd done, and that really had a nice sort of meta feeling to it, because it was you sitting where you are with a hat on and a different outfit in a meeting with other people who are hearing this meeting, but then the actual the video itself, and then your monologue at the end was just so good that the really clean, just boom, ended there. That, but again, super nitpicky, very scraping the bottom of the barrel.
No, that's great
But something
feedback.
you could,
having those outros queued up is extremely imperative. So yeah, I dig that. Thank you. Like, this is great.
What if the co-host played it? What if the co-host played it when you were done talking, man? So you could push back on that a little bit. You say that is nice. That's a good recommendation, but it's also good for the other person who wasn't talking. Maybe they could play the clip.
That would have worked had we discussed responsibilities and so forth prior to doing it. So
right. So you don't know that until you do it, and then you're like, okay, next time I'm going to coordinate with Nick and have him play the clip at the end, because I know it's like hard to monologue and press buttons, right?
Sure.
So like hindsight's 2020. That's why these sessions of feedback afterwards are the part you grow the most. So you thought you were growing while you were on the hot seat, but you're actually growing more now because you're gathering the things that improve you for next time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like everyone's throwing raw materials at your feet and you're like, sweet, I can make fire with this. I can make shelter with this. I can make cordage with this. It's all the things that it's like I picture not that failed, but like a camping trip where you have a couple little improvements you can make and people are like, here's how to make those improvements. Otherwise, you would go away without the feedback, just wondering, and you know what you noticed, but now you get what they noticed, and that's the powerful interactive dynamic that you're like juicing the orange right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like 5 great points: queuing, being ready to cue the outros, having a better control of my computer's notifications, a better understanding of the topics, having a more accurate awareness of the attendees, talking over your interviewee, and then establishing a better responsibility and overview of who's doing what. This is great. This
I
is
wonder
great
if
stuff. So
having the co-host stream would solve the bandwidth issue as well. I don't know if it would, but maybe if you
What do
get
you mean?
a co-host with good, the choppiness of the video, maybe that would have been solved if I had been streaming it from my end. You know, if I was
Yeah,
sharing the screen or
possibly.
whatever.
That's whoever has a stronger bandwidth type thing. So streaming, playing the clips into the call, let's call that streaming for this intent. And yeah, so that's another point. I thought maybe it was like time lapsey. That's all. But now I'm interested in all the frames too.
Well, there was if you guys are talking about like while he's running where it skips, yes, that was intentional.
No,
that
those
was
are,
built in.
I understand those are jump cuts.
Yeah.
But I think some of the other choppiness wasn't intended.
Okay.
But it played off artistically well.
Cool.
Glad to see you doing your stretches as well before you. It's good.
God, I hate that shot. All the little dots on the lens. Good Lord, I'm never gonna make that mistake again. That's for sure.
Yeah, but that's another thing that probably didn't take away from the narrative, because you had a story there and I didn't notice that it wasn't distracting from the story. So that's a case where you could have diminishing returns, because something on set, you're like, this makes a big difference, but in the end result, it doesn't really. And you could save that hour and a half trying to clean that lens, just move on to the next shot because you got it, right? So you need to figure out, like, in the production process, whether you have what you think you have and it's quote unquote in the can, or if you need to do a reshoot or prep other equipment or try again, right?
All right, cool. I wanted to, I forgot to throw a huge shout out to Stefano as well. He's been hugely instrumental in my growth over the last couple of weeks with editing. So I don't know if you're in here, Steph, but you're awesome. You rock. Anybody have any other feedback? Feedback going once. Oh,
it was a good workout, and as well as you planned for it, you see that all these other things happened. So it's good that you planned as much as you did, because that gave you room to respond thoughtfully to these things that go on during the show.
Yeah, I think really the only real moment of panic I had was like 15 minutes after, what is it, 12, 1, 15 minutes like after, when it was like 45 minutes to before the show. I wasn't sure how I was going to log into Zoom as far as the password, and then Nick was able to come through in the clutch. He had, I don't know, I don't exactly know how I got into the Zoom meeting, because it was the same button that I was clicking, but it just no longer needed me to have the one-time password. Was that because you had already opened the instance, Nick?
I'm not sure what happened. I didn't have to put a code in the end. I just clicked the link that you shared, and then I was in here on my own. And then you joined. So I'm not sure how that worked.
So that would have mean that you opened up you should be hosting the Zoom meeting right now then, right?
But I don't think I am. I don't have any of the hosting powers. I can't mute people or unmute them or share. No, I don't have any hosting powers. So I'm not sure how that worked, but it did.
It works then, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, that was really the only moment of terror that I had prior to going on. Was like, oh my God, I don't have this code to get in. And because I wanted to get in and set everything up early and have everything just set, because I got up at like, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock and banged out the outline and everything, which I had basically set up in my head, just hadn't put it out on paper. And so, but it worked out.
I would say so.
All right, guys. Anybody else got any more little tidbits of knowledge, wisdom I can use to grow in the right direction towards the next Do It Live?
I have a comment, Phoenix. I loved your video a lot. I think that it showed that I was impressed that you did all that in just 15 or 20 hours. That's a lot of really great video editing and storytelling to put together so quickly. And then my question to you is, for the folks that kind of in the first half you called upon to unmute and share their words about whatever event it was that something that you had touched base with them about beforehand, or was it a little more on the spot this time?
I think it was way more on the spot. I don't think I really messaged anyone about, hey, would you like to come on and talk about this? It was totally on the spot.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious.
I probably would get a better response if I set that up, scheduled it beforehand, especially from not just the individuals that are talking, but them being there and present, and then having something ready and prepped, knowing that they could, knowing that they're going to be called on, they'll have better input than rather just hey, this is surprise. So I think that's a great point. Let me see.
Your cat has a good sense of timing.
This guy's a cute one. He's been running outside lately, so yay, we get to deal with that whole concept now. And the little dude's a ninja too. I didn't even notice him getting out. He got out like 3 times yesterday. It's ridiculous. Oh, are you talking about Tommy, the orange tabby from the video?
Oh, I meant this cat, but both of them. This one has good timing because they waited till you were done. And the other one had good timing because they interrupted you.
Well, thank you.
Anyway,
I
job well
appreciate that.
done.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome, Phoenix. I'm gonna have to tap out. It's 10:30 p.m. now, so I got to shoot. But awesome. Thank you very much for letting me be involved, and enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, see you very soon.
Thank you for all your
Thank you
assistance,
all
Nick.
for being here too.
You've been awesome. Appreciate it.
All right. Catch you later, everybody.
Ben, I noticed you had unmuted. Did you have some? Oh, yeah, there he comes. Hit it.
No, Nick, I was not Nick, sorry, Phoenix. I was just curious, like before today doing it live, did you like try, logging into the Autonomy, Zoom account and trying some of the screen sharing, or did you just kind of rely on your previous knowledge? Because
did it all live.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because you're a very charismatic person, and you've got a lot of self-confidence, right? And those are real assets. But I think there's also a lot that we can say about, testing these little things beforehand and practicing them, and just getting, making sure that all those technical things that like screen sharing and ticking the box for the sound, those kind of things are kind of easy fixes. So that with a short amount of foresight and preparation, but perhaps now after doing it live, next time you'll probably make sure that you'll eliminate those kind of things, because those are kind of easy, low hanging fruit that we can easily fix for next time. But yeah, that's that's kind of my low level, kind of easy, low hanging fruit feedback that I think that is an easy win for next time.
I'll take it, because I know you're kind of reluctant to give me low hanging fruit, but I appreciate it.
No, I've got bigger fruits, but
okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, those are I think small, easy to fix kind of things that just a little bit of preparation beforehand, because as we all know, things are going to happen, and if we can try and cut out the inevitable, then just gives for a smoother ride, I guess.
Sure. Thanks, Van. Appreciate it. If nobody else has any other feedback, I guess we can call it a day. Stop hitting the mic.
Phoenix, I was wondering what kind of microphone you have, because it sounds so awesome.
This is a PVI 100, running XLR cables into a Yamaha MG10 mixer. coming out of the aux output into a Behringer, coming out into a Behringer U-Control codec that goes into the laptop that reads my mic. And that's the set.
Wow, good thing this is all recorded. But I haven't unmuted. I'm sick, so I'm not looking or sounding too great. But I just wanted to say you really brought a smile to my face today. I love your energy. It was so enjoyable to watch you, even during the lead up and during the podcast. And yeah, your sound is great.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you feel better too.
Thanks.
Drink water and change your socks. That's the Corman used. The Corman, he used to tell us, drink water and change your socks. That fixes everything. If you have a broken leg, drink a canteen of water. Not even joking.
Everything. Yeah, lots of tea, lots of water, lots of bone broth. And I kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I tried the onion in your sock thing last night. I don't think it did anything.
That's for like detoxing and stuff.
I guess, yeah. If you're sick, you cut up an onion and put it in your sock.
That makes sense. I mean, theoretically, if you do like the slices and it stays on the bottom, slap a little bit of tape on it, it should draw out some of the toxins. The same way as like those the little foot pad things do. I think it's like a Chinese medicine type thing. That's what I've seen it advertised as.
I think maybe potatoes. Maybe some people use potatoes too. I don't know.
Well, I hope you feel better, sweetheart.
Yeah, whole new experience. Thanks.
Anybody got any comments left? Going once. Van?
No. I just wanted to say thanks for today. Yeah, I agree with Stephanie. You put up a smile on my face, especially that segment with the video. That put a smile on my face, So
well, the full complexity of it is in the chat as well. So
awesome. And I'm guessing you're not a regular runner, because my top tip for you would be to not have so much clothes on when you go for a run. That's going to slow you down and make it a horrible experience, mate.
It was chilly. It was cold. I'm in Illinois, brother.
I don't care.
It was like 40 degrees.
I don't care, mate. When you go running, you're going to warm up and you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you mean it's in the chat? I mean, like throughout the days that you were going through all this?
The video link to to Odyssey is in the chat. That has complexity, the full video.
I thought you were saying like the whole story of what happened is detailed in your chats over the days.
Oh no. Yeah, like that running, man, that was rough. It was rough. I'm fat and I smoke way too much, and I don't know what I did, but like the bottom of my left foot was hurting for like a day and a half after all that. So I need to probably start going for a walk every 2 hours when I'm video editing for at least 10 minutes so I can work out those muscles, because I'm pretty sure it was like some plantar fasciitis type thing where the bottom of your foot doesn't get stretched out enough, so it just tightens up. That's probably why I'm such a wimp when it comes to running, but I hate running. Marine Corps sucks. All they want to do is make you run.
You're definitely going to get benefit from just getting outdoors, getting fresh air and walking, even if you're not running.
Yeah, when I saw you step outside and stretch in the doorway, I was like, yeah, that's what I needed. But anyway, Phoenix, when's your birthday?
February 21st.
Oh, okay. Well, I once heard that people born around that time of year are not supposed to be running and walking around because they're fish.
It makes sense, yeah. But I enjoy swimming. It's just it's winter and it sucks. I don't like ice water. I mean, I've often thought about doing like an ice plunge, but I don't know. That like maybe I have to learn Wim Hof breathing techniques first before I can survive the ice.
Yeah, that's unpleasant.
At least you're open to it, Phoenix.
Oh, I'll try anything twice. So maybe I didn't like it the first time.
I think there's a lot to say about cryogenics and cold exposure, especially cold showers.
Well, we've got a little pond in the back by where I was running, so maybe if I we get froggy, I'll take a video of me jumping into it in my skivvies. I don't know. We'll see. We'll give it a shot.
So how do you handle it? Because like I'll be in the shower and then I'll turn it on cold and like I can't handle it. Am I just being a wuss?
I think it's a mindset. You know, it's
yeah.
if you tell yourself the water is cold, the water's cold, I'm gonna, you know, something bad's gonna happen to me, then you know your body's gonna react. But if you tell yourself it's just water, it's just, you know, then there's lots of benefits from it, right? And there's lots of studies, and I mean, you could just test for yourself and take a cold shower, you know, stay there, do it for 1 minute, and then work yourself up, you know. But I was always a scared cat with cold showers, but after you experience what you feel like, it does something to your mood. It's some therapies actually use it for an antidepressant kind of hit. So it's a very powerful thing to expose yourself to the cold. And I would just encourage you to try it and see how you feel after you get out. and don't necessarily just do cold shower. Don't even go cold and then hot to kind of make yourself comfortable. Your body is so amazing and adaptable. And yeah, the cold really doesn't do anything bad for you. There's just so many benefits. Yeah, so I would just say try it and see how you feel, and then take it from there.
Van, when you do your cold treatments, do you start off at ice cold, or do you like start in the middle, you know, and then work your way over to the cold a little bit during, like, throughout the first 5 minutes of the shower or something?
Now I just start cold, and I mean, I just get my as soon as if I can get my head in there cold, and then I'm okay. But you know, if you want to like gradually graduate into that kind of activity, then yeah, maybe start slowly and then, you know, turn lukewarm and then go cold. But you know, eventually you want to get to where you just don't even bother with hot water, and you're going to save on energy as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all are going to have to learn to take cold showers inevitably anyways. So figuring out how to do it early might be a boon.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, try it, because the health reasons, the health benefits is just off the charts, and psychological reasons, you know, which is all part of an holistic kind of health approach. Yeah.
All right, good feedback. I like it. Almost 4:45 Central. Anybody got any other points? Or can we close this sucker down and put a lid on it? Put it in the back. Anybody in the back? No? Peanut gallery? All good? All right, cool. I'm going to close this down, guys. I have one question left. How do I save this recording? And is this recording on my computer?
I think it automatically saves it to the cloud if you're using the Autonomy Manager account.
Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure that's what we're on. I don't know if I opened it or if Nick opened it. And I'm terrified to close it, because then I don't want it to be jitsied and then we lose the whole thing.
Oh no, it's not like Jitsi. So if you close the call, it's going to save it like Stephanie says. But I'm also curious about how you guys did it, because it says the host is Guest Autonomy. Did you change your name, Phoenix, or did you have to change your name? Okay.
Nope. That's why I thought Nick was the host.
Yeah. Anyway, it is recording, so I think it's okay to close it down. And then
there's a button that says record. That one's not lit, so it's not recording on this computer, so it must be in the cloud then.
Maybe when Nick stopped, maybe when Nick left, the recording ended?
No, because I still have a little button that says recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what you can do, Phoenix, is after you, I mean, I could do this with you as well if you want, and just go and make sure that because you can go and get the recording right now if you want.
Where would that be at?
It's under the Guest Autonomy. You have to log into the Zoom, and then
yeah, that was the whole reason in the beginning, because since it's the first time that I'm logging. Yeah, the one-time password. Yeah.
Yeah. So that also got me, but luckily I tried it beforehand and I didn't on the day have that issue. But yeah, so we can just say goodbye to everyone, and we can stay live on the call if you want, and I can show you, share screen. I can show you where the recordings are if you want.
Sure. All right, Jerry, Steph, Ryan, much appreciated. We doing it live.
Bye, guys. Good job, Phoenix.
See you.
Bye-bye.
See you, Steph.
You're good.
All right, so
I've just started my screen share, Phoenix,
all right.
and so I'll go to Zoom. You can share you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Okay, let me just get rid of that because I can't see what I'm doing. So sign in, and I mean, you should be able to do this as well, by the way. So guest autonomy. Let's see if it lets me in. Not tried it. Okay, good. So then you go to recordings. And okay, this one is still recording, right? So, but you can see there
awesome.
it is. Yeah, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if we close it now, because it might, I don't know if it's good enough to render. You know, sometimes when you record it, there's a process of saving it and it converts it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, there it is. So if you want to go close the meeting and then go and download it, and you can start watching it for yourself, for your own personal enjoyment, rather than wait for Joshua to publish it, because that will take a few days. Then
Sure.
Here it is. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Just be careful that.
Appreciate you making sure that was there, man.
Yeah, no worries, man. Just make sure you don't you leave it there. You don't tick any boxes to delete it or anything like that. I'm not saying you will, but it
Well, I
auto
can't
deletes after 7.
get in there yet anyways, not until I connect with
Oh.
Joshua or whoever owns the email account that the guest autonomy account is linked to. So whoever that is, I got to figure out, because in order for me to log in, I have to get that email from that account during that 1 minute that I'm logging in. So whoever has that email has to be live with me while I'm doing it.
So you haven't resolved that one-time password thing yet?
Right.
Well, do you want me to download it for you and share it with you, or are you okay to wait for Joshua?
I'm okay to wait. Yeah, I've got
okay, cool.
Plenty of stuff to run through today.
Yeah,
the kids want to
like
set up the Christmas tree, which I'm so not looking forward to doing. I hate Christmas. I fucking hate this damn holiday. I haven't celebrated in like 15 years, but you got kids, and when you got kids that are small, you got to get them something. So it's like, damn it, forced to continue with the BS, whatever. Ugh. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure you've got good reasons why you don't enjoy that time of the year, but yeah, good luck with that. Dig deep. And yeah, thanks. I'll try and get some time, or I won't try. I will, I don't know if you're open to some, just a half an hour discussion, because I want to watch it again and just make some notes. And because there's definitely some similarities between my personality and your personality that I see within myself. We're both kind of, confident, outwardly confident people, and we have this, I don't think I have as much charisma as you. You'll just exude it, right? But I do think there's a lot to say about preparation and testing things beforehand, and not because I get the feeling you get buzz out of leaving things for for just doing it live and rolling with the punches.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a bit of a dopamine hit when I'm working under the pressure and I'm waiting till the last minute. Like that definitely could be what's prompting my irresponsibility, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Well, I mean, it's just lessons learned, I think. And I think when you watch it back, you'll see there's a few times where Paul
pissing around with the screen sharing or, you know, fixing things or whatever like that, you know, that could have all been eliminated by, you know, just having done a bit of preparation. And I don't say this from a preaching that, but when I did mine, Monique kind of took over that aspect, and I was very grateful that she, you know, had the foresight and planning, because she's all about planning. And so she kind of dragged me into that. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to do your approach, where, you know, I just do it live. You know, it's, you know, whatever happens, and, you know, it's exciting, right? But yeah, she showed me that it's not a bad idea to, you know, do the boring stuff, you know, go through the, you know, do a few test runs. And, you know, I don't like that shit. I wanted to just do it live, because I'm quite a lazy person as well. I don't want to get dragged into doing all that. You know, I think I just have this attitude. Yeah, it will be all right. You know, it will work out. But yeah, inevitably something doesn't go. Not that anything went terribly wrong with your thing. You know, it was quite good. I mean, you handled everything well. And
6-7 freaking pointers. I don't know. Enough.
Well, no, they're not
enough for me
things.
to. Well, I don't mean enough that to where it was crap or anything, but enough to where I can learn from it and improve on a lot of these points.
I just think that, you know, you combine a little bit of foresight and preparation into what you did today, and it's just going to be so much better. I mean, I don't think I think it was really good, but I you know, it's like these small little tweaks where we can, you know, take it to the next level. I think that will be like how you can take your podcasting to a new level. It's just having a little bit of preparation and you know forcing yourself to just take that steps to do things that, you know, that I definitely foresee as unnecessary. But it, you know, like I say, Monique, you know, showed me that it's not a bad idea to be prepared. And
yeah, I think a lot of
force myself.
I think I kind of handicapped myself in high school because I hated writing papers. I hated it. I graduated high school. I never wrote a single paper in anything. I had to take English class 3 times because of it. But I really think that has hamstrung me a lot in the areas of note taking and preparation. And it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, I'll do a basic outline and kind of rough it out, and then I'll just, you know, wing it when the time comes. That's kind of been, you know, my MO for most things. And like you said,
yeah, it
really lowers the level of excellence that I can provide to whatever task it is that I'm doing. So I definitely see where you're coming from in terms of having that preparation and really just dialing it in. And that's the whole idea of excellence. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it could have been more excellent than it was. So
yeah, and I think it. Yeah, thank you, and thanks for. Yeah, but I think you've got a lot to work with, man. I can see you, if you really wanted to do this, you could have your own show, and, you know, people would tune in because you're very engaging and you're very natural, and, you know, you're very likable, relatable as well. So, I mean, you've got so much going for you if you chose to go down that route and develop this further, you know. So, but you seem to be enjoying the video editing. You're pushing that, which I think it's great to have, you know, all these areas of development. You don't have to be a one-horse trick pony. That's the beauty of what, you know, autonomy. We can just choose to learn anything whenever we want to. And I think for you, you've got a lot going on at the moment, and you're a quick learner, obviously, because look how much you've achieved in just the last week. And look at your facilitation stats, you know, that they showed last night in the lecture. You know, you're like in the top 5. So, you're just smashing things out the park, man. And you're achieving, you're not just busy.
I must have missed that.
You're not spinning your wheels.
I must have missed that. What's the facilitation stats?
Yeah, so I think it's in the housekeeping bit where Richard always starts, you know, the lectures, where for the first time last night, they showed people who are active in the forum. And I think you are number 5 in that. So they've never done that before, but
obviously they get stats and they can see who's contributing and who's active. So
Okay.
so you had a massive week last week because you were doing preparation and attending meetings and for your Do It Live. That I'm assuming that's why you had such a big week. And but you're naturally contributing and participating on the forum at most of the time anyway. So yeah, so that you can go watch that in the housekeeping when that comes out. So I think Carly was second or third or something like that. So they only showed the top 5.
Okay.
But I thought that was really impressive. So yeah, so you're smashing goals at the park, man. So you're going to end up in the moon soon at this pace. But so yeah, mate.
I certainly hope, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I see it was really good for me to watch you today because I see a lot of similarities within you, and yeah, I think charisma and confidence can only take us that far, and we do need to force ourselves to do the unpleasant, boring stuff as well. Like testing the technical stuff, doing a bit of preparation, testing it to see if we can do the basic stuff. And yeah, like I said, that's overall I thought it was really good, and because it's what you brought to the show, your personality shone through it. And having Nick as a co-host is also always a good idea because he's very succinct and articulate, and he keeps growing as well. He's able to while he's talking, you can gather your thoughts and think about what you want to talk next. And yeah, so I mean, just doing Do It Live is such a fantastic experience because you learn so much about yourself and how you would do things differently next time. And you get confidence, and not that you need a boost of confidence because but I mean, your confidence boosted after today is going to be really exciting to see. And yeah, and if you could just hone your confidence and your charisma and combine that a little bit with a bit of preparation, that would be amazing. I think that's going to be such a much better product. Not that it wasn't good. I hope you understand that.
Sure. I think it really, I started recently helping out with a buddy of mine doing coaching for like kids football. And one of the things that popped out and seems really relevant is the concept of hard work works when talent doesn't. You can be as talented as you want, but on the football field, if you're not out there, if you're not practicing hard, all the talent in the world isn't going to compare you to the people that work their asses off, and that's that preparation aspect. So I could have natural charisma and talent, but when it's the way it's really going to shine is through that preparation and doing the hard work beforehand. So that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, I'll let you be, Phoenix. I've got my whole day ahead of me, and it's getting late for you. So, sorry, I didn't mean to keep you so long, but
No worries.
I hope this recording works for you. And I have a feeling that when we close this, it's going to keep recording. But I don't know how to stop that.
Well, if there's 2 of us, it should close out once we're finished, I think.
Okay.
Because there's nothing else to record, you know what I mean? And it should just automatically upload. I'm hoping. We'll find out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mate. Okay.
All right, brother.
Have a nice day, mate. Have a good one.
You as well,
Cheers,
man.
Phoenix.
Look forward to talking to you again. Peace.
See you, mate. Bye.
Holy fuck, dude. That was great.